swords and shields clanging in rhythm, hearts of steel, yet minds in schism. The Wanderers Company, we roam through the night, adventurers of antiquity.
I'm gonna know exactly where to start the recording because I'm gonna see a spike.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's just gonna be a fucking sine wave maxed out.
I miss you, Leroy. You used to be how I could tell when certain scenes happened because somehow you would make noises that would spike the audio and I would know I'd be able to use that as reference points for quick editing. Alright, with everybody here, we're at 6. Blam. Alright. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to session. I'm 43, 44, 43. 43, session 43, the last session of season 2, as we prepare to do a intercession arc, and then kick things off rolling real hard and heavy with some new planned special guests and potential other members down the road with season 3. Yeah, got some things in the works. However, until then, we're wrapping up with another successful mission, Wanderers Company having made their way to Rhodes and successfully aided the defending of the island of Rhodes against the Tel'Sheen's invasion.
An actually successful mission this time, I would like to add, not a technically successful
Not a
mission.
technical, but an actual successful. And then, proceeding to follow that sort of lead-up, they opted to daisy-chain missions and proceeded to Georgia, fearing that the window to enter the country might shrink very rapidly. So, using what window they had, Wanderers Company then leapfrogged over after defending Rhodes to hit up Georgia on the border of Russia, where they did manage to, through some trial and error, find some dragonkin, some other remnant races, and find the aforementioned and illustrious and rumored and mythological remainder of the Amazons, who had gone into hiding for many hundreds of years in the Georgian mountains, convincing them through some intense fighting and trials, and extracting them back to Greece, where they've been granted asylum outside of Athens thanks to Nikos' mother. After getting them out of there and successfully pulling out of Georgia, the party then opted to continue their investigation into the Tel'Sheen invasion of Rhodes, or at least the attempted invasion, by traveling to Syria, where through some pretty good luck and some investigation, a little bit of high river combat from what seemed to be pretty notable forces, both from corrupt French, provisional and regional kind of guard and police forces, shipping and piracy groups, and what seemed to be a contracted or hired raider group, all attempting to stop them. Oh.
And some very comedic explosions when people wearing TNT vests got lit on fire.
Yeah, who would have thought that was a bad idea? Thwarting all that and finding their way underneath some of the old ruins of basilicas, they found a old Byzantine Greek temple that just so happened to be a established ambush point, where a very long distant family member of Nikos's, particularly the wife of Alexander the Great, under the unfortunate thrall of Typhon, kind of forced her to, unfortunately, beat Nikos in combat. Nikos having died and her being released from her bonds. Somehow somebody saw in favor of Nikos and he was successfully brought back. Much to that pleasantry, the upside seemed to continue as the party finally stumbled upon the remnants of the Colossus of Rhodes, where they had a nice Home Depot montage of sweaty, hard-working men putting it back together before it resuscitated itself and proceeded to hard charge its way into the Mediterranean, across Syria, and back to the island where last they heard it was climbing up the sides of the fortress and taking its old position to continue defending Rhodes against any future Telshine invasions. With a job well done literally 3 times over, not by technicality, Wonders Company got back to their plane, mounted back up, flew their way back, albeit 2 members shorter. Oh?
I was going to say, we're bringing Vin with us, because I don't know what else we're going to do with him. We're just going to let him...
No, you guys aren't leaving him in Syria. You're taking him back with you for sure. Whether he stays in Greece or not, we'll figure that out.
I figured we take him all the way back to London and make him work in the shipping and receiving or something.
More than likely.
Corner's just gonna leave him with the boat, say it's yours now.
You can't read a map. That's a death, a fucking death sentence.
So, funnily enough, the boat is actually gone.
Leroy stole the boat, that motherfucker.
Leroy kind of took the boat to get to where he needed to go, so you guys end up having to find your own transportation, get back to the plane, and eventually you guys made your way back with a quick stop in Rhodes to refuel, and then a nice skip over to Greece. You guys are currently in your flight from Rhodes to Athens. The plane's humming away, things are nice and comfy. You are 2 members lighter, however you have gained a new kobold, and a nice smorgasbord of assorted items and abilities, and having jotted down new spells to attempt in the spell books, and feeling a new kind of bond and other stuff. Yeah, no problem. So for now, we will open up to you guys making a nice flight. It's nice and cozy, a little bit of smoke hanging inside the plane. Looking over the sun going over the Mediterranean distance. You guys are arguably pretty tired, but feeling pretty good about yourselves. Nikos is probably in the back of the plane as usual, as he doesn't take too kindly to flying. You guys find yourselves with a little bit of time to discuss anything, or look at anything should you wish to, before arriving in Athens?
Yeah, we bring him back to life. He can't even show up. Man,
He's
just scared
consulting.
a poser.
Muffled through the door in the bathroom. Just...
An air ganassi he is not.
Vin's walking back and forth between the front of the plane and the back of the plane with like water and towels.
Aw. That would be great.
Torn's probably gonna take...
That's it. That's what we'll have Vin do. He'll be our air stewardess.
Oh no.
Torn's probably gonna take the time to better examine and document this crucifix that he found, well, that Nikos found, and that he is wearing, who apparently Peter couldn't hold in the correct way. So,
All right. Give me a intelligence, and give me another arcana as you look it over and do your nice process of like jotting it down, checking information, dating it as best you can.
While he's doing that, I'd also like to take a look at it, but...
Alright, you're looking over his shoulder kind of deal.
Yeah, well,
what are
no,
you
we got
trying
those
to-
facing seats with the table in the middle, so I assume he's got
yeah,
it
there
up on
you
the
go.
table, and I'm sitting on the other side.
Alright, roll me what are you trying to determine about it, Peter?
I want to look more into its history and religiousness.
Gotcha, roll me history then. Ooh,
Nope.
you a 10, okay. Let me scroll through here and find said item to see what I can actually... oh, excuse me. What I can actually get here for you.
I'm just saying, Peter, you're holding it upside down.
You are the one holding it. I'm just looking at it.
So, between the two of you looking at it, with those combined 10s, you're able to get the idea. It is definitely a Byzantine crucifix, a Byzantine-style cross. Small little necklace trinket, maybe 2 inches by 1 inch. Rather thin. Pretty worn. However, as far as additional information or importance, it doesn't seem to be anything fantastical. It's around 450 to 500 AD, somewhere in that realm.
So late Roman, early Byzantine.
Yeah, very late Roman, early Byzantine, sort of a, it doesn't seem to be anything special other than it has a bit of magic to it. And Torrin, looking at it, you kind of scratch it just a little bit with your thumb, and you're able to kind of determine and get a bit of that feeling off of it. You've handled enough magical items that you're able to almost kind of tell when something has a magical tinge to it. The glow that it had while it was on hallowed ground is no longer present. It was very faint, but it's no longer present. However, you can still tell that while holding it or wearing it, it seems to give a slight, I don't know, what feels almost like a easier ability to connect with arcane or kind of magical or just sort of a state of mind. It almost kind of puts you get a slight sense of calmness from it. Out of character, that translates to a +1 to religion rolls to anyone who is wearing it, and it does not require the need to attune to it. It is literally a instantaneous, if you're wearing it or holding it, it gives you a +1. But other than being a very late Roman, early Byzantine crucifix, there's nothing of particular note to it.
Torrin's just going to, make notes, document it thoroughly, properly, sketch it on a page, and all the notes, a whole fucking page of notes, and then some. And sometime near the end of that, he's gonna glance up at Peter, and there's obviously something special about this. When I hold it, when I wear it, I feel just slightly more in tune. But that's the problem. I don't. I feel like I should have something to direct it. That do you understand? It does. It's. I don't know.
When you're not wearing it, does the feeling stay? A little bit.
Not at all.
Puts cross on, becomes religious, takes cross off, becomes atheist.
Thing is, I don't feel like religious when I'm wearing it. I just feel like I should be.
Agnostic Protestant. Agnostic Protestant.
What and what I'm getting at you with this is perhaps you being a religious individual might be more predisposed to having this.
Sure. Let me put it on and see what happens.
Also, it glows in churches, I guess.
I take it you're gonna put the crucifix on then?
Yep.
Alright. When you put it on, Peter, you don't feel any sort of change in you. You don't feel really any significant or notable kind of channel or presence or divinity to you. Roll me insight.
No.
So, you don't really notice a change, but you get the notion that there is a change there, if you had to take a gander, adding a drop to a half-full bucket is unnoticeable compared to putting a drop in a 16th full bucket.
Got diminishing returns, bro.
For a literal cleric of the Russian Orthodoxy, whatever sort of divine connection that this might help enable is not very noticeable compared to someone who, frankly, isn't connected to that specific pantheon or belief or practice.
I believe, since you are not particularly in tune with the spiritual, I believe it is kind of opening you up to that to some extent, and it doesn't seem to be nearly as effective for me because I am already religious.
I mean, I don't particularly feel the need to be to be opened up. I know that it exists now, and
There is still a difference from knowing and experiencing, and this is allowing you to experience probably a small part of it.
I've experienced enough in the past couple of weeks, and you may keep it if you want. I probably won't wear it.
Let me know if you ever want to. Yeah, I'll add it to my inventory then.
Silver Byzantine crucifix.
Ooh,
You know how
alright.
+1 religion checks. Hopefully that will help.
Yeah, as long as you're wearing that, got that on your person, it's +1. And Torn, having written it down and described it, it also adds to your known magical items of investigation.
Journal's getting pretty fucking laden with. I assume everything's in it, not just magical items, but a whole sketch journal documented.
Oh
everything.
yeah, it's filling with quite a bit of stuff, including other races and a lot of personal notes over time. As you two are sitting there, Hachu.
Also, a
Oh,
bunch of pictures, I presume, that I've taken of this stuff
oh yeah.
for you, Torin, and they've been developed, and you've just taped them in there or something.
That'd be more than likely. Hachu, if you are with us, I'd like you to give me a
Yes.
perception check, sir.
Okay.
Speaking of, I'd like to ask if I can cast Hallow on the plane.
Oh. Right now?
Well, I mean, it has a casting time, but yes. On this
Oh,
trip.
nat 20!
Ooh.
There's a hole in your left wing.
Oh god. How long is the casting time for Hallow? Or how long
24
does-
hours.
Takes 24 hours
And
to
it lasts
make
for,
it Hallow
as
ground?
near as I can tell, it lasts forever, and it just says the target is a point, a
Essentially,
touched
you're
point.
yeah,
So
you're
it doesn't
establishing
specify
a
ground.
it's a building or a grounds or a perimeter, like it kind of case by case of establishing hallowed ground, whether it be an abbey, a church, or just a area that you don't want certain entities to be able to enter or walk onto, namely undead, things of that sort. Best example, Palermo, which had that cast on it, and most other churches or anywhere requiring hallowed ground. You can try to cast it on the plane. You won't have 24 full hours, and it's one of those unfortunate things that takes a solid 24 hours to effectively do. You can't do like 3 8-hour shifts to get it done.
I mean, we got like time to do this. We're not rushing anywhere.
Oh
so.
yeah, you guys will be in Athens for a good minute, so if you should spend most of a day there, including the flight to make this plane hallowed, you would be able to do that, but you'd have to commit a full 24 hours to do it.
Yo, we're gonna have a hallowed plane.
I mean, it could come in handy.
It also gives like defensive bonuses against non-physical damage too.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, if that's
wow.
something you want to start working on and doing, take away one spell slot from that, and we'll have you start working on that over the next while.
This thing is slowly turning into a fucking beast. It's got 20
Oh,
mil.
yeah.
It's got magic protection. Like this thing's getting to fucking.
It's got
like
scrying
Spec Ops.
protection on it with the dream catchers on it. Like, it's got
Oh yeah, the pilots have a fucking dream catcher hanging from the fucking. Probably from the flaps the flaps arms is a little dream
Oh
catcher.
god, yeah, just dangling there. Yeah, this is turning into nice little places. You'll have to light a little bit of incense. You'll have to basically walk some laps around it with the incense ball.
Waving the sensor. It's a sensor.
The
It's called
sensor,
a
that's
sensor.
it. Thank you. Waving the sensor a little bit. You basically have to establish hallowed ground, but you'll be able to start that process over the next while. It'll be a little smoky inside, but you guys smoke anyhow. As you're getting some of your stuff together, while you guys are sitting down, Torn's looking over some of his gear. Hachu, you kind of look over, and in the corner of your eye, sitting... So you have a couple of those small tables where you have 2 seats facing inward towards those tables along the side. On the seat with its back against Torn, so sitting on the opposite side of Torn, you can see the back top of someone or something's head. It looks kind of gray and black furred, very kind of coarse, and there is 2 rather substantial, kind of curling, kind of burnt looking horns, almost like a ram's horns there, and it seems to be sitting on the opposite side of Torn, not making any notice, and you get the notion it's like reading a newspaper, maybe?
Fuck.
Oh no.
What? Oh no. What?
I'm blinking. Do I blink and it goes away, or just like?
No,
Is he
it's
still there?
It's still sitting there. You see the top back of a kind of goat fur textured head with 2 horns, like it's sitting there reading a newspaper, like it's just a casual flight.
Not you. You can't just say "oh no" on an airplane after a successful mission. What?
Don't turn around.
Torn turns around.
Torn, perception check.
It's the back of a chair, because you can't see over the seat.
22.
You try to look up above you and you don't really see. You lean around and look around the side, down the aisle that leads to like some of the other parts and the little mini bar and the next table and seats behind you. You don't see anything, Torn.
Vim, stay away from the minibar.
The kobold kind of peeks around the corner. Okay.
Do I have like a? Is there like notebook paper or any kind of like a little notebook?
You probably got like some paper and like one of the few notebooks or field books like sitting around by you, yeah.
Oh. Is Peter doing his rounds thing right now?
Yeah, Peter's like walking up and down the aisle slowly with the sensor, kind of waving some of the incense.
So just handing a piece of paper won't like break up the thing, right?
No, he could do other stuff. He could eat and walk around or like maybe even take a small nap.
Okay. Hang on, if I can actually type.
Ooh, what's he typing?
That's not how that's spelled. Shit, I wrote it down somewhere. I don't remember where I wrote it down. I don't remember how to spell it.
It's a hastily scrawled note.
Yeah, hastily written note. Who are you writing it to or passing it to?
He's DMing it.
I
to me
see.
now.
I see Peter walk by, and I just quietly hand it to him.
Gonna press enter.
I'll tell you, kobolds have no natural resistances to nicotine. I feel as though, yeah.
I'm gonna hand you the canteen full of holy water.
I just start drinking the holy water because I don't really know what to do with it.
I don't think you should do that. They throw it on things. And don't use all of it, if you can avoid it.
Hachu, give me another perception roll. See if you bust out another nat 20.
Probably not.
Uh-oh.
I had some experience with cigars in the past, but cigarettes are so much more crude and seemingly unprofessional.
Thorin, that is an incense stick.
No, it's... No.
As you're looking at him doing this, Hachu, you take 2 big sips of this holy water-filled canteen. You feel clear. You feel kind of rejuvenated. It's like a more refreshing sip of water. However, you feel like you can't cast magic, possibly? As you may have dampened your necromantic connection as you lower the canteen and look, now sitting across the aisle, not so much sitting, but kind of propping itself against the opposite side of the plane, leaning back with its arms crossed, is what looks like a kind of not properly put together, not fully anthropomorphic, kind of satyr goat-looking creature with 2 large horns, very like atypical goat eyes, the very wide, narrow pupils, and it's just kind of standing there, and you get the notion it's just kind of giggling a little bit to itself, silently looking at Torn. Torn, you said you were
Not
trying
really
to
sure what
smoke.
to do about that.
You said you were trying to smoke one of the incense sticks.
No, he is not trying to smoke an incense stick.
You're trying to light one of your cigarettes that you got off Leroy. I take it, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have cigarettes in our ration kit, so.
Oh yeah, that too. Roll me sleight of hand. You probably got like a whole rack of assorted cigarettes on the bar here on the plane. Yeah, roll me sleight of
Cigarello.
hand, Torn. A cigarello.
15.
You raise the little lighter up and you click it and try to start lighting the tip of it, and for some reason passive wind or just airflow in the plane is causing the flame to start lighting the middle of the cigarello instead of the end, and the middle starts lighting up and it starts burning from the middle.
What the fuck? That's unfortunate.
Give me a deck save, Torn.
What? 14.
One of the little embers off of it drop down from the middle and lands on the kind of belly of your shirt and vest, and it starts to... You and me smoke. Anyone who has smoked, when you accidentally drop a little bit of an ember, don't realize, and it makes that tiny pinhole that just isn't really fixable in a shirt. You get a little tiny pinhole as it goes out. Hachu, give me another
Why?
perception roll, please.
Why? Why? This is ridiculous. Why is there a draft in the airplane? Isn't this supposed to be a pressurized cabin?
No. This plane is not that fancy.
This still doesn't explain why there's draft. I can't light. It's
At you. Uh-oh.
What's trap?
Yes.
I need a perception roll from you real quick. As Torin gets a little pinhole from his cigarello not lighting properly. Ooh. You kind of snap your gaze over towards Torin as that happens to him, and you look back over to where the kind of goat creature was standing, and it's no longer there. And you kind of look around left and right a little bit. It's nowhere to be seen. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a little cigarello pinhole in your shirt, but I mean, it's lit. You just only have like half a cigarello now because the front half kind of had to fall off.
That's terribly mean. Like, that was meaner than killing Nikos.
Conscious here.
Excuse me.
I just start darting around the room to see if I still see him.
Give me investigation. As you guys see Hachu get up, having just taken 2 big slugs of holy water canteen, and is now pacing up and down, kind of looking around. Damn, 27 investigation.
Slithering, not pacing.
Hachu's slithering around, looking like beside seats, down in the little area. For some reason, even takes a moment to peek underneath the cigarette dispenser. Like, he's looking around. He even pokes his head into the cabin to the pilot and co-pilot, who kind of look at him with like, "What the fuck do you want?" But before they could say anything, he's already turning around and slithering his way back down the hall. He's looking around. Yeah, Hachu, there's nobody or nothing on the plane. You don't see or find anything.
That's it.
I'm gonna pass Torin the note that Hachu gave me, and I'm gonna say I'm doing something right now. Wave the sensor in his face. Oh, I got a DM.
Yeah, I think you gotta DM him the note or put it in a Roll20 chat if you want.
There you go. No, DM, you don't get to see it.
Torin's just gonna glare at the paper and go,
I think.
Don't look at me. I gave him the holy water.
Oh, is that?
I think, therefore I scrabble.
Wait, you mean the water he drank?
The
You're not supposed to drink that.
I mean, you're not supposed to. It's not the best use.
So, any reason this is like a note, and we're not just. Okay.
Torin, sleight of hand, please.
20.
As you're looking at the note, you look away, and as you look back at it, Torin kinda sweats in a more kind of lizard-like way. But for some reason, it seems your hand was more sweaty than it maybe was, as some of the ink on the note has smeared, and you got a little bit of ink on your thumb.
Why? How'd you get a better pen? Would you just rub this off on someone. Just,
Crinkles up the paper and throws it in the ashtray.
Look, that's what I had, okay?
Let me get a sleight of hand. Nah, give me dexterity, Torn.
What the fuck have you done to me? 21.
You lightly throw it, and Michael Jordan would be jealous of the absolute just fucking swish as it goes straight into the trash bin. The little metal one with the kind of like restricted opening on top. And after a half second, you can't tell if it's incense smoke. Why is that smoke a little bit thicker? Why is there a slightly thicker like stem of smoke rising up from the trash can? Why does it smell like burning paper?
Peter?
Torn's just gonna point.
There is a noticeable like 5 or 6 cigarettes worth of smoke now rising out of the metal trash bin.
I'm assuming we just have like a jug of water out somewhere, so I'll take that and just dump it in there and see what happens first.
You crack it open, dump some of the water in, it puts out the paper that was lightly starting to ember. The smoke dissipates, and now there's just incense smoke lightly hanging towards the top of the plane. You put out the little fire that had started in the trash can.
How did something's not adding up here.
No, it's not.
Why did you not catch on fire?
Had you?
What do we do if he does just keep showing up randomly?
First, I think we see if the hello to plane works out.
You kind of like owe him stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hachu, give me insight. It's high enough that you've seen Couch a few times now. He's never taken that form.
Well, I hope it's not him. It didn't. If it was him, he didn't look like him. I don't know if he can like change forms or anything like that. I don't know how it works.
If it was, I think you passed a note because it lit our trash can on fire.
Maybe when we get to Greece, you should sleep on the plane.
Yeah, I'll try that.
As you guys are flying along, unless you got other tasks you want to do, the next couple hours go by nice and quiet and smooth and steady. Nothing else seems to happen or occur unless there's something else you guys want to do on the flight.
Torn's just gonna use that time to document the rock as well.
Ah, okay. Give me, let's see, what did we have you roll before? Intelligence and Arcana.
What rock was that?
The, rock with the blood drop on it that they found at the Shinto shrine.
Oh, you also got to do Nikos' shield.
That
The blood of Hussein ibn Ali. Al Hussein ibn Ali ibn Abi Talibab. Prophet Muhammad.
Al Hussein Ibn Ali Ibn Abi Talib. Big fucking name. Basically the grandson of the Prophet. Yeah, you look at this and you got no idea what really the importance of it is. It seems to be one of those items that are just tied to, hey, important figure touched it. You know, Christianity, Buddhism, and quite a few other religions and occults and followings have very similar items to this, that just because a more important or notable person or founder or deity or entity touched something, it makes it kind of desirable or more wanted or important. However, as you look it over, sounds good, Hachu. As you look it over, it's simply a small kind of egg-shaped stone, and it has a kind of warbled and very worn away, but pretty obvious 2 or 3 drops of blood that have fallen on it and kind of ran down one side long ago. As far as a date goes, kind of hard to date it, but if you had to take a gander, let me double check here with a quick...
I must admit, Islam is kind of a gap in my chain of knowledge.
If you had to put a date around it, you would say this was around 650 AD, give or take. If you had to take a gander dating to it. Outside of that, though, it just seems to be a stone with a important person's blood on it, and you found it in one of the old, long destroyed Shinto shrines of Syria.
I'll hold on to it for now. Interesting piece of history, I suppose. Maybe someone would know more about it. Maybe. Why not?
Alrighty. Let's see, what else were you? You can also add that to your magical item list. However, it doesn't fully count to your... actually, nah, it'd count as a discovery because you archived it down as a important religious item. Whether magical or not sure. But important item. And then you said you were wanting to take a peek at Nikos' shield?
Isn't...
He's in the back of the plane, but his spear and shield are just kind of leaned up against one of the seats, I imagine.
Sitting in the seat he left when he realized he really had to go to the bathroom, and
Yeah.
he's been in there for the past 6 hours. Thankfully, we have 2, one on each side of the plane.
Was Peter gonna look at that, or
Which
I'm
one of
busy
you-
casting Hallow.
Yeah, he's currently walking up and down, doing some enchantments and speaking some hymns as he kind of paces up and down the plane. But if you want to take a look at it, Torn, you're welcome to. I don't think Nikos would mind.
just kind of sitting there asking to be looked at? Yeah, Torn's probably gonna get bored, see it, and perhaps try to recognize the historical significance of a shield that Nikos got from that crazy woman.
Roll me a charisma save.
Oh. A 6.
That's a really old shield that allegedly belonged to Alexander. Yeah, he wouldn't want me touching his stuff. But it's a really cool old shield.
Yeah.
It might be magical. It was carried by the crazy chick that killed him, but like... no, I can't. But history demands it be archived, as you can't really argue wanting to touch it and inspect it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're touching it and looking at it.
Give me a strength save.
21.
You managed to heft this thing in the name of history and archives. his previous shield was pretty heavy, solid bronze, wood inlays on the inside. His previous shield was pushing like 50 pounds. And you're not the strongest kobold, but you're strong enough, but managing to grab it and heft it above your head like an umbrella, for about 100-pound shield, that's quite the feat. As you walk over with it on two semi-wobbly feet, set it down on the edge, kind of lean it so you can get a better look at it, and you start
Nikos.
taking a peek at it, and
Just as you get it set up, Nikos comes out of the bathroom.
oh, perfect timing.
Torin's
Yes.
looking at your shield.
You come walking out. They're on the flight between Rhodes and Athens at the moment. You've been in the back of the plane, as you don't always vibe with heights. As you come stepping out of the back of the plane, you see Hachu is kind of looking around like he lost his key fob. Peter is walking up and down the aisle, waving a incense bearer and
Censer.
kind of censer and kind of saying silent hymns to himself with his eyes half closed as he walks up and down, spreading kind of smokiness to the inside of the plane. And Torn is currently trying to handle your shield and look at it and look it over in the middle of the aisle.
With a 21, so Torin is powerlifting your shield.
Yeah.
What'd I miss?
Trash can got on fire.
Okay. How?
Nacho's being harassed by the devil again. Hence this.
Oh no.
I'm gonna gesture to the sensor.
I see.
This demon showed up to screw up my cigarette and burn a hole in my shirt. It's really confusing.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Being dicks is kind of their thing.
It's a cool shield. It's old and heavy.
Yep. It is old. Why, it was Alexander's.
The Alexander.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you remember where we got it from, right?
Yeah. Wow. It just didn't. It didn't cross my mind at the moment. Given the context of the situation.
It's understandable. It's not every day someone dies and comes back.
Yeah, it's not.
Wait, so what's the deal with the shield, DM?
So as you look it over, give me another intelligence and arcana.
I'm gonna take a look at it too, considering it's my shield.
Alright, roll me intelligence and arcana as well, Nikos.
Got it.
Jesus Christ.
What can I say? It's my shield.
Family heirloom buff.
Uh-huh, right?
Alright, let me get some notes here and DM both of you.
I like to think Torin and Nikos just start saying the same exact thing at the same time.
Oh yeah, I need to change my profile picture back. There we go.
Pronouns wall/wall.
Alright, give me one moment. Boom. Let me go here, and then let me go here. Let me punch this in here. Yeah. I need to make a addendum here to this with those rolls. Damn, that fucking nat 20 on the Arcana. Alright.
I can feel it in my blood.
Oh, I'll forward you the note that Hachu sent.
Alright, let me cut that. Boop, and throw that there. And then whoop. And go to Quappy. And boop. And then let me send this to you, Soap. Boop. And boop. As
you, sir.
you guys kind of look at this together and kind of come to a similar finality and realization.
Nick, you're looking a bit closer. Is this the
Mm-hmm.
the Guatemala?
I think so. Yes.
Oh. Wow. This belongs in a museum, and okay. Don't lose it.
I don't intend to.
As far as
It is a family heirloom, after all.
As far as a bit of a visual description of it, unlike his somewhat blue-tinged bronze shield that he had, his standard hoplite shield previous, this one's very similar, although it doesn't seem quite as curled at the edges as the previous one was. This one seems a bit wider, a bit more of a kind of footman's phalanx shield. However, while very bronze and dingy and very battle damaged, especially having been used by her for so long in likely many, many fights, you could see the remnants of what seems to be kind of a purplish painted star over the front of it that is long worn away, and you can only see like a faint discoloration where the purple is now. But there seems to be a large purple star kind of inlaid over the middle of it. Other than that, it's simply a couple inches wider hoplite shield with a less of a curl to it than his previous one.
Does it have any magical abilities?
It does indeed. I'm not quite sure how to state it in character, other than it just gives the wielder a little bit more of a kind of second thought in the back of their head as far as how to block or how to hide behind it if need be. It grants a +3 to AC instead of +2.
Bro's got Alexander the Great Cortana in the back of his head.
The spirit of Alexander, look to the right, Nico-san.
Oh, hey, you can see a dent my head made there.
Oh, yeah, that'll buff out. You can buff that out.
The dent or his head?
Both.
Both.
I think this thing
Oh,
feels awesome.
you know, I bet his fan club is going to go insane over that.
Wait till we tell him he died.
Let's not spread that around, please.
Yeah, it's a closely guarded secret.
How are you going to tell your mother?
He's not right.
I've been thinking about that. I was hoping to start off with the good news and then just kind of slip it in there quickly.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Mom, I'm level 10 now. I just had to die for it.
Oh, my son and his MMORPGs.
Yeah, Nikos, take the shield back. I'm gonna.
I think you should be more direct about it. I get the feeling your mother is the kind of person who will find that out one way or another.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah, I know. It doesn't help that I still have no idea how I came back. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad, obviously, but
I'm gonna grab a drink.
Torin,
Hey, Vin, he needs a drink.
Torin, give me a perception.
Oh boy. 19.
Oh yeah, you missed it. We're making Vin our stewardess.
So, second wave kobolds, some of them have a little bit more of that longer. It's a middle between first wave kobolds with that longer kind of dog-like draconic face and feature, and then Torn, obviously being a third wave kobold, a little bit more snub, not quite as aggressive. Being a second wave kobold, Dim's got a bit of that aggressiveness. His eyes are a little bit more to the side than the front of his head, quite as much. As you round the corner, Torn, and look, the back right of his right eye, kind of chameleon, looks at you very quickly as his head is slightly upward with a bottle of rum in his mouth, and he just kind of freezes in place.
I said one thing. I told you not to do one thing.
Takes one very awkward, slow, additional gulp. Lowers the bottle slowly. Turns his head away from you, caps the bottle, puts it back in the rack. Proceeds to try to slowly start sidestepping as if he doesn't see you, keeping the back of his head towards you as he starts kind of sidestepping towards the aisle.
Hey, Vim, can you fly?
Kind of turns his head over his shoulder a little bit, shakes his head no, looking downwards.
Alright, well, until you learn how to fly, please don't touch the liquor cabinet!
Turns towards you and shakes his head yes rapidly a couple times before he takes kind of a turns kind of right, so his right side is towards you as he starts to pull his sleeve upwards a bit and kind of lowers down and sticks his arm out. Give me a perception check.
24.
There is a...
Is he doing a Hitler salute?
No, it's parallel with the ground, making a fist kind of out towards the right, towards Torin. He's got his left hand up on his shoulder where he pulled his right sleeve up. Torin, there is a recognizable amount of what seems to be previous lash marks running up his arm from the elbow going up. And he kind of tucks his head a little bit as if waiting for something.
But, and you really didn't learn from all of those?
Kind of looks up towards you for a moment, seeming a little hesitant. I tried. I was thirsty.
Alcohol is a diuretic. It makes you more thirsty. You're an idiot.
Yes.
This is why I don't get along with my own kind. This is why I I have issues getting along with the. Don't touch the liquor cabinet. Okay.
He slowly retracts his arm, lets his sleeve back down, and he seems kind of reassured, if anything, a little awkward, like, why did nothing happen? And he nods a couple times, stands up, and starts to kind of step and skirt around you towards the aisle and start making his way over towards Peter to eventually skirt past him and try to sit down in one of the seats.
Also, whoever left those lashes was an amateur. Who does that on the arm?
Give me insight as he asks that, as he's kind of, like, in those last moments, stepping out of the aisle and...
5.
Hey, you got him from somewhere, but, I don't know, previous co-workers, maybe? Possibly a disciplinary action of some sort? Not really sure.
Vim, just remember, it's about moderation.
Torrin says as she grabs a bottle and takes a very large drink from it.
He's gonna silently sit in his seat and kind of look out one of the little port windows and just kind of awkwardly try to avoid eye contact with people for a little bit.
Have you ever left Syria before, Vin? Is it Vin or Vim?
Vim.
Because we've
with
been
an
called
M.
Vim. Okay.
Yeah. He kind of snaps and looks over towards you, shakes his head no. No. Yes? No. He closes one eye and the other eye kind of looks upwards in thought for a moment. Egypt. Syria. Damascus. Turkey? And then he kind of looks to you, wondering if any of those make sense.
Greece is a lot like Turkey, no matter how much the Greeks don't want to admit it.
Egos takes one psychological
the
damage.
The Turks took it from us.
He nods a couple times and kind of leans back a little bit, looking back towards the window. Greece.
Are we close enough to be able to see Greece out the window yet, or?
You're just within the edge range of it. You'll be able to start seeing some of the scattered islands and stuff as you approach towards Athens.
Whole lot less culture shock than England's going to be.
Oh, definitely.
As if there's anything else you guys would like to do, as we will kind of fan our way forward here. Approaching towards Athens, the plane will make a couple decreases in elevation and kind of start adjusting its little pattern and approach, following along the coastline before eventually coming to a nice landing and coming in for a nice landing. And it's nice and gentle. The air here is oddly more perfect and nice than it should be for some reason, because just Athens always seems to have nice weather. At least around this part of Athens. As plane sets down, gets nice and gentle. Bay door opens up. You guys come walking down the little staircase on the side. Able to stretch a little bit, get the plane legs or plane belly out from you. And
They do. I'm still casting Hallow on the plane.
yeah, you'll still
Unless
be...
it takes 24 hours to fly from Rhodes to Greece.
It does not quite take 24 hours, I will say. So you'll be on the plane still doing that for at least a little while longer. But the pilots will disembark, and the two of them start walking over instantly as a handful of two of the Yanti Greek snakes, and then Snoplights, and a handful of the other humans come walking over to start looking to the plane, checking the fuel, and a very fast-paced and intent mother is currently barreling towards you guys with a fast walking pace that you have not seen.
Nikos, 12 o'clock.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, she's moving. Oh, dear.
Normally you'd be greeted, Hachu and Torn, but walks right between the two of you as Mother Zagros just kind of right between you, walks up.
Okay, bye.
You get a flat,
Wow.
stiff-armed palm straight to the center of your chest and armor, Nikos, as you were just kind of pushed back half a foot before the hand grabs the top of your breastplate and yanks you back forward again into a hug.
A hug.
Oh, that's sweet.
Well, look at him.
Who brought you back?
I have no idea.
What do you mean you have no idea?
I have no idea.
I don't know. How do you not know?
I don't know.
While still hugging him and kind of grabbing the back of his head and pushing it into, like, the bottom of her neck, she kind of turns and looks towards you, or like, with hip-snapping speed, and glares at you, Torn and Hachu.
Don't look at me. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Did the cleric do this?
Not
He said
sure?
he couldn't.
Who brought him back?
Torn is avoiding eye
I
contact.
just kind of shove him out, just push him.
No, we don't. None of us know that Torn did it, except Torn.
Do I notice the way he's acting and just?
Give me perception.
You're in a closet, for example.
Okay.
I didn't touch the closet.
So let me
That's his design.
actually. There we go. No, hang on.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and
There we go.
Let's see what we got here.
Probably not.
Ooh,
Can I roll deception against that?
I was gonna say roll deception or stealth.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Damn.
Torrin's got his eyes down a little bit as she's looking at the two of you, kind of between the both of you, as she kind of turns her head away and is looking towards the plane. As in the doorway, she sees Peter kind of walk past for a half moment doing his thing.
I suppose it makes it easier telling you if you already know.
You just said you didn't know.
No, I meant the fact that I died.
You think I couldn't feel that? I could tell the moment it happened. My heart broke. If it wasn't for just the surge of power that hit me and I could feel you there again, I was about to muster everything and yeah, I guess like Alexander, march into Syria again.
Nice weather we're having.
Deception, Torn.
It's like
I'm gonna look
just,
out
like,
the door
look
and be
at
like,
him
"Did
just
you
like-
tell her?"
14.
it's like, why do I feel like you did something?
I'm a kobold without magic.
Torn, there is a pair of slightly teary 23 rolled eyes looking at you at the moment. Not angry, questioningly though.
23? Wait, what?
She rolled a 23 against your deception.
Wow.
Wow, man, really, really nice weather.
Mr. Levencroft?
please call me Torn. That's a bit official.
Torin?
Yeah, that is my name. Yes.
How did you bring him back?
Excuse me.
She kind of gives a look towards you for a moment, Hachu. Hachu having also been able to perceive the awkwardness of Torn at the moment. And then she kind of looks over towards you, Peter, as you're standing in the doorway of the plane. Then kind of turns her attention back towards Torn. She doesn't quite answer you, Peter, for your question earlier. But you get the notion that she knew, since she is currently holding Nikos into her chest, like holding a teddy bear type deal, just like holding his face down into her neck.
Get out, walk around the plane, climb up on the plane.
You're walking over the left wing, just kind of.
Dude, he's like the monk from Air America.
Exactly.
Yeah. Walking around blessing the plane.
Walk up into the cockpit, and you guys can hear one of the pilots having a horrific sneezing fit.
Okay. She lets out a little bit of a sigh as her eyes kind of look back towards you, Torn, and start to get a bit watery at the bottom and corners.
Don't cry. That's I don't know what to do when people cry. It's awkward.
She blinks a couple times, looks downwards, kind of lets you go just a little bit, Nikos, as she is still hugging you, but is now allowing your face to not be stuck in neck. It's just kind of looking your face up and down. Very motherly, appreciative face. You keep very good company.
That I do.
How's the food around here?
If he does ever manage to stop being wrongfully humble or deflecting, whatever he's doing, let me know.
I will.
She gives a little bit of a nod to you, gives you another hug and kiss on the cheek. Steps back, looks over towards you, Peter. How long will you be on what you're doing?
How long do I have left?
Yeah, about 14 hours.
The rest of the day, and then some.
I'll have food and comfort brought out to you then.
Spasiba.
Methinks the museum's gonna get a large anonymous donation.
No.
Looks over towards you, Hachu, and you, Torn.
That was out of character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Looks over towards the two of you, gives kind of a nod, and is gonna keep an arm around Nikos and start walking with him, taking you guys towards the manor, and kind of gestures for the two of you to follow.
Torn is gonna give like an awkward stiff salute and then follow.
I think he just knows things. I don't know what, but
Me?
I think you did something. I don't know what, but
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, thinking won't get you too far. It's action that matters.
Whatever it is that occurred, as long as you all find yourselves never in a position that it should need to happen again, that's my only concern.
That is my concern as well, yes. Mutual agreement.
Good.
'Cause it can't
As
happen again.
as walks with the three of you, takes you into the manor, and will immediately treat you guys to a nice feast. And then Peter, you'll be brought out food eventually. A cart with like 2 of the servants will bring you some food, stash it inside the plane for you. So as you're doing your rounds, you can grab some of the finger food and eat it as you're like got a mouthful of shrimp while walking around doing your chants and hymns.
Yeah, as you're having the end of this touching moment, I'm standing in the back trying to toss the censer up and over the tail.
Doing wide like rainbow cartwheels with it. Yeah.
Oh my god. Torin's probably gonna volunteer to bring Peter his food and also take the liberty of getting him either some very good tea or coffee because, 24 hours awake.
Yeah, it's gonna take him a little while. The next while will be pretty chill after you bring some stuff out to Peter off and on. The 3 of you will be allowed to go hit up the bathhouse. Obviously, get relaxed, fucking soak for a while. Peter will keep doing his thing, but you'll have your coffee and tea and food brought to you back and forth. And next 14 hours go by pretty chill, pretty relaxed. Unless you guys have any conversations you wish to have while the 3 of you are hitting up the bathhouse.
Torin's going to remain very silent in general. Unless spoken to, But yeah, he's suspiciously quiet in general.
Nikos or Hachu, either of you gonna strike up conversation during that time, or gonna be
So was it
largely-
Asgrath?
Wow, that's a very direct question.
I used to buy food in the meat.
Well, you seem to have the closest relation to him out of us 3 that interacted with him. And you are somehow involved.
Okay, I may have called in a favor.
I'm just hoping it didn't cost you anything too big.
No, it didn't.
Thank you.
Anytime. Well, not really. I can't do it again. So don't do it again.
I don't intend to.
Great. That's good.
The 2 of you sitting on one side of the hot bath, you look across the kind of pool-sized bathhouse, and for the first time in a while, Hachu is just fully sunken in almost his kind of alligator form, like just the top of his head is sticking out from the water with a towel coiled up on top of it.
Can you not?
That's such a great image.
Just top of his snake head with a towel on it, and it's kind of peeking out of the water like...
I just follow my tongue.
I know you have nostrils on the top of your face, but is that necessary?
I mean, the warm water probably feels great, I imagine.
Can confirm.
Are you speaking that out? Like, do you raise up to say that, or are you saying that with your mouth underwater?
Yes.
God, that made me spit out my drink.
Yeah, next while goes by with you guys being able to relax, get some good time in. Kind of a nice moment. Go to your rooms, get some good sleep.
I'll do sleeping on the plane after I'm done, right?
Yeah, Hachu will be going over to the plane once you're done. You won't be done till the morning, but that's okay. For the time being, he'll be able to sleep in his room. Nikos in his own, Torin in his own previous room. However, Torin, I need you to make me 2 deck saves.
Oh, okay. An 18 and a 10.
At one point, you do almost stub your claw on the foot of the bed, but you manage to not do it so roughly. However, as you're laying down in bed, the bottom of your feet keep kind of poking out from the sheets, even though they should be long enough to not do that. And you have to struggle with it a little bit to actually like get not, for some reason the sheets just keep hiking up and your feet keep popping out of the bottom, and you have to struggle with that for the first half hour before you fall asleep.
This is terrible. Why? Why?
Eventually you get it to work, but it's just it's a nuisance for the first half hour, but you do eventually get some sleep. As
What's wrong with these sheets?
I don't know, for some reason they're acting like they're 4 feet long when they're like 9 foot long sheets, but for some reason they just keep hiking up for the first while. As we go through a nice, good, calm, casual sleep, Peter working away to hallow and turn the plane into hallowed ground, or a hallowed frame? Hallowed airframe? Hallowed airframe, we'll go with that.
Hallowed air.
Hallowed air. Whoever wants to put that in their notes for remembering, whoever's most attached to the plane, put in your notes that the airframe is now hallowed ground. As you guys will wake up the next morning, everybody will kind of be able to get dressed, make their way out. Peter, you'll eventually you'll have had a little bit of time to catch up on just a tad bit of sleep, as you'll greet with the other three in the main room, and all of you are able to sit down. Torin, roll me perception.
So how did your mother take it, Nikos? I couldn't exactly tell.
All right.
That's good. I'm sure she was mostly just glad to have you back.
Yes, she was. That softened the blow.
As you guys are starting to sit down and discussing this, Torin, you look down and you realize the 6 buttons of your shirt, with your vest still open, as you haven't buttoned up your vest yet. You realize the top button is in the second buttonhole, and you have to unbutton your entire shirt and then rebutton it and then tuck it back in.
I'm losing my... What am I, a nervous wreck? God, it's just buttons. Come on.
So you sit down, large swaths of cooked eggs and sausage and bacon and bread and all kinds of just good, solid, like, Greek breakfast food is brought out to you guys. They're all able to eat really well. And the rest of the morning will go by pretty chill, pretty relaxed, unless anybody has anything in particular that they wish to do. As
do I get my spell slot back, or do I have to wait until we like sleep again?
You'll have to take a full, like, long rest to get that spell slot back, so it'll still be gone for now.
Okay.
However, the morning will go by pretty smoothly, and well, you guys normally would probably disembark and fly out before noon hits. I get the feeling none of you would press the topic, as you realize Nikos is being asked to have tea and go on a walk along the beach, and also get a tour of the now renovated and rebuilt private island of his with his mom for the while. So I imagine none of you would probably intervene with a couple extra hours to hang out with his mom, which means you guys have 5-6 hours of your own time, the three of you. Anything the three of you would like to do with that time while Nikos is getting some extra time with his mom?
Is there some sort of a blacksmith or alchemist or anything of the like around here?
There is a kind of traditional part-time blacksmith at one of the neighboring estates, or if you go into town, there are a handful of more modern blacksmiths and tool creators and makers.
We're gonna look for the best. The best man.
The best. Give me investigation.
Oh yeah, and Torn totally just borrowed a car to drive into town.
That wouldn't be too
It's
hard.
fine. We've got several.
Fuck!
Ooh. You managed to get the car, but you end up driving around a bit. You were just kind of lost and trying to figure out where it is. You just end up going in a couple circles. You just can't find it, and eventually you retire back to the manor after a couple hours.
No, he's gonna stop and ask for directions.
Excuse me, farmer, sir. Where's the blacksmith?
The blacksmith kind of
Pulls
looks,
over and asks some guy herding sheep.
Yeah,
Pulls his head out of a car. And just
random sheep herder just kind of looks to you in like the really long luxury kind of taxi type car. Just kind of tilts his head for a moment. I'll give you some directions, and you'll be able to make your way over towards there. And eventually, you come up to the blacksmith. You realize it's the one that you purchased all the tools from previously.
Oh, he had magic shit. That's good.
And you'll be able to park in front, hop out of the car, go walking up in. Give me a dexterity check.
What are you doing to me? 12.
You
I
don't
think he's
fall
mad you burned your
over.
wish.
You don't fall over, but you do stagger a little bit as stepping up the curb from the street as you step out. You snag your right foot a little bit, and you do 2 like hard forward steps before catching yourself and continuing forward.
I'm coming apart at the seams. I'm coming apart.
Yeah, he's gonna enter.
Alright. Give me a sleight of hand.
Fuck you. Oh no.
It's
a pull door.
It's an old school wooden door, and it's got the nice handle on it that you pull forward, and it has the little rod that makes a little brass bell jingle jingle on the inside. As you pull it, the bell falls down, hits the ground, and then both of the hinges of this larger wooden door make a bit of a creak, and then the entire door is now being held up by your hand as it seems to have just detached from the door sill.
Excuse me, sir.
I
Inside, sir.
I'm hoping you're a carpenter, telling me you can rebuild doors. No?
I am not. I'm sorry. Your door. I'm holding it up right now.
Well, if you could kindly lean it against the door sill, I suppose I will get back to that soon. What can I do for you, sir? I believe I recognize you. One of the Zagros associates, correct?
Torn just awkwardly like shuffles the door to the side and leans it on the door.
Yeah.
I can't. 1 second.
Roll me a dex save, please.
Oh fuck.
God.
19.
You don't hurt your claws and you don't trip, but you do accidentally kick the corner of the little bell as it just makes the loudest tile floor clink, 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 clack as it hits the bottom of the counter in front of him across the room. And he just kind of leans over and looks at it, lets out the smallest sigh. What can I do for you, Master Torin, I believe they stated your name was?
Torin Levencroft, yes.
Yes.
I couldn't
Those
help.
shovels doing well for you?
Oh, yes. The shovels are fantastic, and
Good,
actually, so is the spyglass, which I purchased, and that cattleman's whip. And I've seen a lot of use from it.
Good. What can I entertain you with today, sir?
I'm looking for a modification of sorts.
Oh?
Torn's going to approach the counter, and he's gonna pull the whip out, and he's gonna set it down. And then he's going to also retrieve the balled up and tied up vest and set it down next to it. And he's gonna say,
No, be very, very careful. I have come across and quite call it magical. How much do you know about electricity?
Gives a small shrug. Enough to know how the building is powered.
Okay, well, in this little in this vest is are 3 links of chain, and they could possibly kill you if you touch them.
Okay.
They've been more or less imbued with the power of Zeus once upon a time. It's a long story. Either way, if you don't mind, I would like these affixed perhaps to the end of this whip here, and some sort of an insulator provided for the safe storage of said whip.
He squints a little bit. We'll untie it and kind of look inside carefully as a couple small sparks kind of rattle out. And you can see where 2 of the chain links were rubbing against each other a little bit more. And there's a few hints of like just raw friction welding where they were trying to fully connect to each other. And he just looks at it for a moment, smiles some. I do believe you're right when you say this is touched by Zeus. This has quite a electrical charge to it, and you want to put these on the end of the whip.
Yeah, I want to use it to kill people.
It'll definitely do that. I believe I know how I can affix these to do that, although it will take a little bit of time. How soon would you need this ready?
Preferably as soon as possible. I'd like to avoid sending it through the post, as it's quite hazardous.
I imagine so. If I work on it immediately in front of the other projects and subsequently my front door, I believe I could have this ready by maybe late evening today.
Could I pay you a little extra to push that day for that time forward?
You want me to begin on this now, then?
Yes, please. I'm kind of in a hurry.
Very well. Considering the plausible threat to my life, the damage to the door that I will be delaying, allowing a draft, and
Hey, that door fell over on itself. I didn't do that.
difficulty of this project, I would be direct and say $550, and I can have this ready in 2 or 3 hours.
Does 500 work?
$525.
510?
$520, and you rehinge my door.
Alright, deal.
Very well. He'll reach his hand out to shake yours.
And shake it on.
Shakes your hand a little bit. Nice.
All right,
and,
roll
like,
dexterity.
a thorough handshake.
Shut up.
And he'll lean back a bit and reaches behind the counter, raises back up, and a little wooden tool carrier gets set down in front of you. It's got a hammer, some nails, some screws, and screwdrivers in it. And he kind of sets that for you. Take your time with the door. I will take this back and begin on it now. And he kind of rewraps the chains, picks them up, grabs the whip, and starts walking his way towards the back, leaving you there with the little tool chest on top of the table in front of you.
I can reassemble a machine gun. I can fix a door. So,
Alright.
feeling strangely clumsy lately.
Give me sleight of hand.
22. Fuck you, DM.
You grab the tool carrier and you turn around, walk over towards the door and take a look at it. It's still leaning up against the outside door sill. Both of the rather large hinges are the 5-screw piano hinges on 2 plates, and both of the hinges are attached to the door itself. Both of the hinges, all 5 of them came clean out of the door sill, and all 5 of the nails in both hinges are still attached to the hinge on the door.
Wow.
How would you like to go about fixing this, or what's the rough process that Torn wants to do to reattach the door to the door frame?
Torn's gonna do this right. He's gonna freaking pound dowels back into those definitely wallowed out nail holes, and then refit it.
All right. Give me 2. Do you have any tools or crafting checks, or if not, just roll
No.
me dexterity.
20.
All right, and roll me a sleight of hand.
20.
Hell yeah.
Good lord.
Nice.
Alrighty. Yeah, you're able to hammer some of the dowels in, widen it out, kind of paint back over it where some of the paint is chipped out, smooth it a bit, line it back up, and after propping the door a bit and lining up the hinge with it, taking the old screws out, you're able to get the new screws that are in there, and kind of reuse nearly the same holes as before, and start screwing it back in. Yeah, you're able to reattach the door with relative ease. It's not too bad. It's maybe a millimeter lower than it was before, but it still opens and closes plenty fine as you test it a couple times, opening and closing it. You do realize the little stem that is attached to the inside door sill with the bell and the string is still laying on the floor on the opposite side of the room, however.
Is that technically part of the door?
You ask to a silent room.
Yeah. Yes.
You get a notion, you get the idea that, yeah, that kind of is part of the door.
He's gonna look up at, the regular human-sized 7-foot doorway.
You do notice there is a small step stool beside you.
Ah, there we go. All right, stool.
All right.
Grab the stool.
Give me a acrobatics and a sleight of hand. You are standing up on the top rung of a step stool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you clamber on up, and you got 2 of the little nails in your mouth as you reattach the string, tie it to the top of the bell, string that over the little stem, wrap it around, tie it off, hammer in the 2 points where it's held. Step your way back down, scoot the stool back over, give the door a couple test opens and closes, it makes a nice jingle. Yeah, you've successfully repaired the door.
Sweet.
Torn, carpenter. Handyman.
I was just gonna wait around for him to be done.
Alright. Hey, that took you probably about hour, maybe. You'll be able to hang out for the next little while. There's not really any new items in here that have shown up. The artillery sight is still propped up in the corner there among some of the other scopes and optics and binoculars and whatnot, and periscopes. Or telescopes. And, yeah, after a little while, he comes walking out. He's wiping his hands, taking off his gloves. And, you have kind of a... almost kind of looks like a extra wide archery, like, arrow sheath of sorts. Where the handle, wrapped leather handle is sticking out of it. And he sets it down and kind of scoots it across to you. I believe this will do what it needs to do.
Yes, I believe it will. You're good, aren't you?
I like to think so, although it did come at a small cost. And he raises up his hand, and you can see where one of his ring finger on his right hand is a little bit blue, and the nail is gone, and it's kind of black on the tip, where it seems like he may have accidentally touched one of the links.
Yeah, that'll I did warn you.
Torin missed the Tom and Jerry-esque yow! Refixing the door.
He kind of holds it up and holds the handle of the whip towards you so you can take it out.
I don't know if it's a good idea to take it out in the air.
It should be safe unless you try to strike something with it.
I really don't. I trust you. I just really
Very
don't want to
well.
take it out in there.
When you are in a state where you need to use it, I have to question its capability to be used as a normal whip, at least as a utility, but as a very extended reach cat and six-tail with a rather electric discharge, I believe it works rather well.
Yeah, that was the idea.
I took the 3 links, cut them in half lengthwise, and attached each of them to reinforced frayed ends, so this works kind of like a nine-tail or flagellant's whip, but much longer and not quite as much width to it. It seems to electrocute anything that it hits. To pull it out, you will have to give a rather firm yank upwards. However, to place it back in the holster sheath, you will have to manually roll it carefully without touching the end to kind of like a firearm, place it back into the holster. However, you will see there's a slight reinforced portion where the chain links will be resting.
I appreciate that. My largest concern was, trying myself on accident, so,
You will not be able to. I have tried many times to grab through it and accidentally cause it to fall out, unless it is purposely pulled. As long as you place it properly inside, there is a bit of a raised divot that will almost kind of work like a tug safety. You will have to purposefully pull the whip out for it to be usable.
Sir, you are an artist. Thank you.
I like to think so, as are you, for the most part, although I'd have to question your carpentry capabilities. But I mean, the door was... It was needing a repainting anyways. Give me a perception check.
Oh, fuck you. 21.
You realize the door is back in there, however, somehow, it's still an outward opening door, but the exterior paint is on the inside, and it was somehow put in backwards.
Impossible!
Yeah.
You rehinged it.
He's wondering the same thing. Why would you take the time to take the hinges off and put them back on? Why is the door backwards? But
How is that even possible?
it's on there, so he's not going to question it.
What the fuck? Thor's just standing there with his eye twitching. Like,
He has a small smile to that and will kind of look to you. I don't mean to be the bargainer, but perhaps you have the pay for the item?
Yes, of course. 520. Like we agreed on.
Yes.
And he's gonna count that out.
Alright. Give me, give me sleight of hand.
No, let's stop it. A nat 20. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck
you.
you.
You counted out perfect. It's the right amount of bills. It is good to go. As you count out $520, you'll take it, recount it nicely, and place it in the drawer and give a nice smile and reach out for another handshake.
Another handshake, and then Torrin's gonna pass him a card. I assume he carries business cards for some reason.
Does Torrin have business cards?
I've never thought of it, but he would most certainly have a card for the museum. Or
Alright.
like 10.
Yeah, you hand him a business card and he'll take that and kind of smile at it, put it in his breast pocket.
It's senior's business cards, but he's just scribbled out. I can't remember Levencroft Senior's first name and replaced it with Torrin.
No, it's like the official fucking like contact for like the museum.
It's a proper museum card. He'll give a nice smile at that and pocket it. Thank you.
We specialize in acquisitions. If you find anything of particular magical or historical significance which you would like to perhaps be paid well for, it's worth sending a letter.
Oh. I will definitely look their way then, should I come across anything I feel is not quite worth resale.
Or something that You can't sell
Something
for
needing
enough.
preservation, yes.
Anyways, thank you very much. Good luck with the door. I'm sorry, it's backwards. I don't.
I was needing a new coat of paint on the outside of the storefront anyway.
Right. Well, I'm gonna be off. Good day, sir.
Good day to you too.
As gingerly as possible, Torn is going to attempt to exit the store.
You're able to walk out the store. You push the door open, gives a little jingle, closes behind you. Walk out to the car.
Oh, thank God.
You're able to climb into the car plenty easily, set the whip on the seat beside you, start up the car, start driving your way, I'm assuming back to the estate, or do you have somewhere else you want to go?
Let's go back to the estate.
Alright. Yeah, after a little while, you guys just kind of hanging out, doing your thing. Eventually, you'll see the car come up the private drive, park. One of the butlers will come out and take the car and drive it off after Torn hops out. Torn, you see most of the party kind of standing by on the runway. Nikos, his mom, Peter and Hachu standing by at the plane as the two pilots are kind of working at putting a handful of additional supplies in it.
I'm not late, am I?
Everyone kind of looks over your way, some of the crew that are helping out, and the mom looks over and gives a smile
We don't
towards you.
exactly have a schedule.
I don't believe your arrival back in England is any needed thing, although I imagine your officers probably would like to know what all you've been up to.
Yeah, they would.
No doubt.
We've kind of
We
been
did
up
tell
to
them what we planned to do.
Well, if you should find yourself heading to the Middle East or Asia or any parts of Africa, of course, do please make Athens a rest stop on the way. I do like seeing
Oh, we
you.
will.
Very
Alright.
well.
And Torn is wearing his new whip holster sheet thing now. I assume he set the probably set the monster up as cross draw.
Yeah, it's probably
And
as a
it's
cross
my
draw.
hip. Yeah. So he's just more stuff.
Even more gear on him. He is all geared up. Yeah, you guys will eventually be able to hop back on the plane. Engines will start up real nice, like with that shotgun bang start. And yeah, eventually, unless you guys got anything else you need or want to do, the plane will take you off and bring you guys on another long flight towards England.
On the flight over, I want to bond with my shield.
Alrighty. Yeah, won't take you very long. You're able to do a couple, you find that
Wait,
to get
I thought
used
you
to
said-
it.
I thought you said at the end of last session when he picked it up, it automatically bonded with him.
Yep. This is more so just getting a little more familiar with the, like, thrust of it, kind of bringing it up to block with it. He's doing a little bit of, kind of like dry combat training in the middle of the plane for a little while. It's definitely heavier. Your previous shield was about 60 pounds. For some reason, this one's about just under 100 pounds. But, it's very wieldy. It feels smoother, for lack of better words. As, yeah, you're able to get a lot more familiar with it. But, any magical sense of power that's running through it, as naturally as you grabbing it and putting your arm through the shield slot, it feels the same as your previous one. There's no odd feeling of it not feeling like it's not your own the moment you have it in your hands. But you'll be able to take about 20 minutes to half an hour doing some of your shield drills. The rest of you, while you're riding on the plane, it still smells of incense. But, don't know. It feels a bit nicer. It feels, I don't know, more solemn for some reason. More calm. As, you guys will take a nice, flight from Greece, around the southern part of Italy, around the side of Spain, not passing over Spain, and up along the French coast, and to England. As we will pan on over here to the newly updated world map. The map of the world.
Do you think Swinton's back yet?
We have been gone for a bit, so maybe.
Man, what the fuck is that color for Belgium?
Okay. You were angry about Belgium and Belgian Congo being hot pink, so I went with a Belgian mustard brown.
It looks so weird because of the pink outline remaining.
I know. Shush. I tried my best.
Belgium spent too long in the tanning booth.
They got that Trump orange going on. Yeah, you guys make a nice long flight back over
We have
to
the best
England.
waffles. Everyone
the best
tells me
waffles.
their waffles are the best.
Our chocolate is desired by the world. We
And
have
the guns,
windmills.
we have the greatest guns.
Guns, windmills, so many windmills. They never break, always powered. All these windmills.
I love how it's so easy to do Trumpisms. You just say a thing and then you say a random thing about the thing that's good, and it's just
Mention thing, reinforce how good thing is. Belgium's army, it's the strongest army. It'll never be used to outflank the French.
What's that thing Shane Gillis did? They went through his wall. No, you think other guys would go through the door? No, not our guys. They went right through his wall.
Went through his wall. They don't need doors. They attacked on German shepherds, the most beautiful German shepherds.
They're the best dog.
Best dog.
Best dog
All
ever.
wearing night vision. Dogs and robots.
You know-
That's how we got them.
You know, they have masks for them so they can jump out of planes from 40,000 feet.
I saw that one time as a weird side thing. This crazy dude Halo jumped with a dog. The dog had a Halo jump mask and goggles and his own oxygen tank. That is the most metal, awesome thing. Like,
If
Halo
only we
jumping
still
with
had
a dog.
If only we still had horse cavalry as like a regular thing, because there would totally be airborne horse cavalry
Shoving
units that would-
horses out of
God.
sleds out of the back of C-130s. Yeah, you guys take a nice flight with the pondering thoughts of AirCav being literal. As you come in for a nice landing in Greenwich. Nothing's changed. It's still the same Greenwich as the plane comes to a nice relaxing landing. And you're met with that...
so OSS is finally done with its improvements?
No, more like they just haven't had too much time to make improvements. As, let me get the audio correct here.
Yes, the Thames looks particularly not feces-filled today.
You,
Called Thames? Why not Times?
The Times.
Is it not called Times?
I've been naming a...
No, it's the newspaper.
Look, sometimes I have trouble pronouncing things because I've read them in a book for 10 years and never actually talked to anyone about them, okay? So if I get the pronunciation on something a little bit wrong, can you just give me a little bit of slack, please?
It's a genuine question. Is it not pronounced that way?
Are you gaslighting me?
Unintentionally?
Stop unintentionally gaslighting me.
I mean, there's
That
plenty of
is right.
English around you could ask.
Excuse me, crooked-toothed man. What do you call your river?
Fuck you, mate.
I should have seen that coming.
Goes back to unstacking some of the cargo off the plane. You guys are greeted by a somewhat familiar voice as two Spitfires are taking off and flying off into the distance, and then walking across is familiar-looking Swinton, who seems a little more tired than usual. Comes walking up and gives a brisk little, kind of casual half salute. Oh, welcome back, Wondrous. Good to see you back.
Good to be back.
Good to be back.
It's rather strange seeing you two members smaller, but it doesn't seem to have affected your capabilities in the field from what I understand and what I have heard so far. But first things first, let's get business out of the way so you can take your very much needed R&R that you're, I'm sure, quite due.
Yes.
Right this way. You know the usual briefing room. I'll meet you there in a few minutes while they unload the gear and I speak to your pilots.
Your shoes untied.
I'm wearing my loafers, friend. You can't trick me with that.
Did you switch to loafers just because of me?
No, I needed more comfort. Levencroft Sr. found it fit to walk me across most of New England despite being in a wheelchair himself. Maybe he found it funny that my feet perhaps get calloused.
So he had you pushing him across New England, you mean?
Oh no, he refused to have any aides push him. His arms will quite outlive the rest of his body, I am afraid. He is in good spirits, though. He's, rather fond and, dare I say, vocally proud of some of the endeavors that I was able to inform him of and Wondrous Company's practices.
You informed him of what we've been doing?
I attempted to skirt around direct knowledge, however, I did have to divulge in him the fact that it has been you and not Levencroft Jr. who has been partaking in these voyages and adventures as of late.
And how'd that go over?
Well, a bit of anger with Junior at first, but as I gave more information, more happiness and assurance, and some additional information and decisions divulged that we'll go over some of in the briefing.
Okay. And it's probably for the best. Junior couldn't find water if he fell out of a boat.
I'm also quite glad that Junior isn't here and we have you instead.
I'm quite happy with it too.
Oh, thank you.
And I would say that before, the thing also.
Of course. Yeah.
With the couple hours I had to enjoy Junior's presence during at least one of the dinners, it is, I can personally say I'm glad it was you, Torn, and not him in our presence.
He tries. Sorta.
Well, let's not press on that. Head to the briefing room. I'll meet you there shortly. We have, not too much to go over, but enough. And he'll kind of turn and walk over to one of the pilots who gives a nice brisk salute. He gives a salute back, and as they start talking about the manifest and exchanging some of the paper-clipped information. As you guys will be free to walk your way across a very familiar and kind of pleasant and relatively unchanged place. It's equally busy. There's still some cargo coming in and out. There's still scientists and professors walking to and fro. The items hall is still busy as ever. The items hall, they've attempted to make it a little more streamlined, and it seems like they have to certain extents. As you make it to the kind of educational and lecturing wing, you're able to make your way down the main hallway to the first lecture hall. Step inside to the little auditorium that is obviously meant for up to 5 people to be on stage and upwards of 60 students to be sitting at their desks on the layered elevated platforms. And of course the 4 of you are able to sit up in the front, get nice and cozy. And you're able to wait for a little while. A good 10-20 minutes will go by.
Wait, there's students here?
Well, there would be if it was being used as a
right, yeah.
college.
Was a college before, the takeover.
Was a college before it was purposed for military use.
Technically, it still is, and technically, according to someone somewhere, we're all students.
Technically.
Not that anyone is buying it, but
You're still
that's what
doing
someone is saying.
Research on behalf of the college and the government, just as the College of London and other areas and groups are not filled with military professors and research being done.
Well, they gave us student visas while we were over there.
After about 20 minutes of sitting down,
I just got that. Fuck.
I was hoping that would fucking land.
God. After about 20 minutes, the four of you are greeted with a nice click of the door, and it closes, and walking in and up to the podium with the usual somewhat tired grace, Swinton will step up, set his pamphlets down, set his folders down, crack a couple of them open, one of them a bit thicker than the others, as he kind of starts to breeze through them. Very well. We'll start with the first usual notes. I understand you completed technically three pressing objectives. Your investigation into roads and the aid of the defensive roads, as well as a rather hasty and successful adventure into Georgia before the Soviets clamped down on that airspace. Which would you like to go over first?
Let's start with Georgia.
Very well. Give me a cause and effect. What was the highlights and what were your findings of this venture?
Peter?
Well, I believe we have found that the Amazons are far less effective than one would expect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how so?
Most of them are dead.
They also stood there and watched while we all fought an escaped dragon.
A dragon?
Oh, you didn't,
That wasn't in the report.
you didn't know.
No, I am only aware that they were granted asylum in Greece and were rather low in numbers. I'm unaware how exactly you convinced them as of yet.
We killed the dragon that they were, keeping captive, that they somehow lost control of while we happened to be there.
Well, I hope you didn't take any too grievous wounds, or obviously you were
Yeah.
successful.
We
or
almost
you-
died.
We all have scars.
I imagine. Perhaps we can have our medical and surgeons try to look to some of those scars if need be.
I'm kind of proud of mine.
I wouldn't say I'm not understanding that you. Do you perhaps know what dragon it was?
Yes.
He says as he stalls time for his DM to scroll to the name.
Somewhere in your notes.
It was Izilant, a dragon native to southern Russia.
Oh,
Lord of Kazan, another big historical figure in as far as dragons go.
I can't say I'm personally familiar, but we'll be sure to pass that information as he starts to scribble down a little bit of notes. I know a particular wing that will be interested in hearing about, its former whereabouts. What did you do with the remains, if I might ask?
It was an acid dragon. They melted.
Oh. Very well. No remains.
I think we managed to get some of the scales. I think Wilhelm had them.
Damn it, Wilhelm!
Well, that would be a bit of a problem, as I allowed the tasking of him to the SOE and the Strike Witch group there. They're currently dealing with the increased Ascari problem.
Perhaps ask him to mail them.
I will see to that. I'll see to a message being sent to him to package and send those to us at his nearest convenience.
We also rescued a village of Dragonkin as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many?
Was it like a dozen? About somewhere in there, 20-ish.
Huh.
Did they end up getting pushed on to London, or did they decide to stay in Greece?
I read something about a few of the refugees were going to be transplanted here. However, I've not received any additional information. I'm assuming that would be your dragonkin that you mentioned coming from Greece.
But
Yes.
Mrs. Lady Zagros has been rather forward and rather cooperative with future endeavors, so I imagine I'll be hearing from her in the next couple days or so as to that particular tasking, but we have plenty of room and we'll be more than happy to see them brought here and asked of information and granted a rather comfortable and secretive asylum should any elements be looking for them.
I mean, they could have some very useful information on the Soviets. I mean, they did kind of, kill most of them.
That would be quite the hope. Additional information on the whereabouts there, as our last two operatives have had to go completely magically and radio silent, as to our knowledge they are making their way to Iraq and Kurdistan to be eventually brought back to us. Well, I would say that was a relative success. You made contact with them, felled a dragon, convinced all of them and then some to seek asylum in Greece, where we have been granted permission to speak with a few of the members as need be, including the Dragonkin. And that would be quite a bit of good information, I believe. Did you make any contact with the Soviets directly while there?
As in, spoke to or shot at?
Both.
We shot at some.
Ah, very good. Are they aware that you were of British tasking?
I do not believe there were any survivors.
Very
When
good.
we flew in, we made radio contact with them and told them we were Spanish.
Ah, very good. I imagine Mr. Copeland arranged that facade.
Duh.
Good, good. Well, if you can be assured that there is no trace or remnants of your involvement and any and all involved have safely been extracted, I will say this is completely done, and very well done, in fact. Roads. What's a best way to summarize that? I believe you landed there, made contact, seemed to have successfully repelled the attack, and the last reports I was given is quite a shock, as the Colossus itself, rather naked, climbed back onto the fortress, taking its original pose and its grandeur before collecting large bits of metal and reforming its armor and shield and weapon and taking its original pose overlooking the Mediterranean. I
Speaking
can only
of,
imagine that was you.
We owe it something like 2 tons of bronze because we destroyed its ear while reassembling it.
Ah, well, to my understanding, it seems to have no problem somewhat magically or physically, so I am told, collecting handfuls of various metals and absorbing it as part of itself. I do believe it is been able to do that fine of its own accord.
Yeah, we found it in Aleppo. The Jews sold it to a bunch of people.
Ah, so the old legend and what little bit of history we knew were relatively correct then.
Completely true.
Now, how sentient is it? We haven't had a chance to send any representatives to properly speak with it.
Conversational.
Yeah.
Ah, good.
We didn't have a chance to give it like a math test.
I'm hoping it will be of a cooperative sense in the fact that I don't believe we can convince it to work with us, but it seems...
I don't think it will work with the Italians.
Good. Its sole purpose will be keeping the sea assaults at bay.
I believe so.
Good. Very well. I can't say that could have gone any better. And allowing future endeavors to speak with both it and the clerics and paladins of the fortress, I will say that is another job well done. Hopefully you can continue this trend in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Quite. Well, as far as my information and needed stuff to forward to you, there's been nothing new. The same tasks and missions as before are still in the air and available. We have had to relinquish one mission in the far Pacific to the SOE and Special Unit Z in Australia, who were rather, should I say, pushing that they be allowed operations in the Philippines, and we reluctantly allowed them to oversee future operations there. So, unless something should go wrong and the SOE reach out to us, I don't believe the OSS will be in the Philippines anytime soon. Outside of that, there is still the predicament with the Askari Regiment in Congo and South Africa. There is still the missing town of Greentown in the jungles of Brazil. The Everglades are still requesting our assistance, as well as a opportune chance to speak with the Coyote of Coyote Confederation. Of course, we're being asked to aid with the Grand Canyon expedition, as well as the Sage Wall. The Flatwoods monster is still at large, and for some reason seems to be unhandleable by American OSS endeavors. And our aid in Boston with the investigation into the occurrences around Boston are still being requested, as the field team in DC seems unable to find any new grounds there. The Bazaar of, should I say, the Bazaar Thief, and series of thefts all across Morocco and Casablanca, well, we may need to relinquish that to French and Spanish endeavors for the time being. That one is still in the air. We understand the window in China is actively closing as the Republic is feeling we are not giving them enough aid, while they are also progressively losing ground to the Chinese Communist Party. And there is still, of course, the pressing matter of Ueno Island, which we have encircled and not allowed any new transport to go to or from until it can be properly investigated by a more advantageous field team such as yourselves.
Oh, gee, is that all?
Well, there is also the matter of a small number of raids. something akin to bears, or rather gnolls, or bear-like gnolls, raiding a couple nearby villages in northern Norway. All of them seem to be linked to the small village of Eleva. We do believe this is, of course, the small trace that we had you run out of the southern forests in Norway when you first collectively found your way here. However, outside of that, nothing new has seemed to surface. Everything seems to be, dare I say, relatively stable. And I say that happily, as you have a new priority mission and tasking. I won't bombard you with the details as of yet, as this is in cooperation with Levencroft Sr. and the Austrians in Vienna and a couple other historical societies. I will say you will have 48 hours of your own time to rest, relax, commit to your own research before we will reconvene here, where you will be properly briefed on what that mission will entail. However, do know, Torn, you will be speaking, and the party will be acting as the escorts and fellow historians in a sort of bumping elbows and information retrieval in Vienna, of all places.
Vienna?
Yes.
Well, no. Okay.
The Vienna Historical Arcane Conference will be beginning in the next couple days, and we see no better chance than Wondrous Company to go in and represent various English and American efforts as our spokespeople. While there, we are under the understanding that other important entities will also be present. And we see no better chance to gain some information than, well, now. But as this hasn't been fully set in stone exactly how we wish to do this, but do know that Torn and Nikos, the two of you particularly, will be sort of front-ending this, I don't want to say operation, this, we'll go with operation for now. Yes, this event. Don't worry, it is not drastically pressing, but we do understand that some various entities, such as possible appearances from persons of the SOE, the Italian Archaeological Society, and some other elements will be present. But I won't go further into that. For now, we will call this meeting adjourned, as you have the next 48 hours to yourselves. The rest of tonight, and all of tomorrow and the next day to yourselves. Rest, relax, follow up on what endeavors you need to, and I do believe that is all. Other than, of course, this. Obviously, we'll be following up on this in the next couple days, but Torn, I do believe you will be needing this. Give me a moment to give you a thing here out of character.
Flipping through his notes on his podium.
He flips through the notes and will take out a small folded envelope that will have a, familiar to Torrin, the Levencroft stamp on it. Wax stamp. And he'll kind of hold it out for you to take, Torn.
Thank you.
Of course.
I often receive post that is, okay. Thank you.
I had a good couple days to speak with Levencroft Sr. and, well, feel free to read that on your own time, or if you wish to read it now and consider it an official briefing to the team.
Of course. I'll probably won't read it right at this moment, but yes. I'll
Very
look
well.
at-
Perhaps later this evening, when a lot of you are having your own time over dinner, you can
Yes.
speak on it. Very well. I will leave you all to it, and there is also a agreement that I have made. Upon completion of this operation, I have another letter to give you, Torn.
Two.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But I have agreed to give it to you after completion of this operation. Rest assured, it will be a 5-day venture in Vienna. It will be rather high society and pleasant. So, if you're not already, get familiar with perhaps holding out your pinkies and speaking with the more higher class of people and much more fancier food for the next while. And he kind of gives a nod and stacks the papers, taps it, puts it under his arm, and will put his cover back on as he steps down, gives another kind of brisk half salute, and will walk his way out, leaving the 4 of you sitting in the auditorium again.
You know, of all the things I expected to kickstart my career, as you'd put it, I wouldn't expect my work with this organization.
I don't see why it wouldn't. We have been bumping shoulders with some pretty important people.
Yeah, we have, and so I've just suddenly been reminded of how much my world has changed. Right place, right time, I guess.
Guys will,
So it would seem.
guys will have the next while to basically make your way on over to the mess hall, be able to get you some rather familiar food before it closes down, and then eventually make your way over to your assigned hallway. You can tell that Leroy's room and Wilhelm's room have both been tasked out to what seems to be 2 other officers of a likely parallel team of some sort. They're not present, but you can see where the name tapes have been swapped out. However, the 4 of your rooms still remain. The stuff that you have had shipped there have been stacked just inside the door, as each of you are at your own pace able to make your way back. Yeah, the rooms haven't changed. Everything's nice and comfy and familiar. As you guys will have, at least for now, the later part of this evening to do with as you wish. What would the party like to do?
Torn's probably gonna start by returning to his room and sorting the things. All of the things.
All the various hats and items and accoutrement.
Figuring out what to leave in the room and what to not leave and all that. And also he's gonna read the letter.
Alright. Feel free to open the text document and give that a read over. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna head down to the library before it closes.
Alright. What you hoping to do there?
Look for any information, myths, or stories on people, on mortals who have bested gods.
Ooh, okay. Give me investigation. Peter, what are you wanting to do?
Has it been long enough for me to get my level 5 spell slot back?
Once you sleep tonight, it will be.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to have to do normal research. I would like to look into the phenomenon we encountered in the arena and see if I can find anything on that.
Gotcha. Give me investigation as you'll join them in the library.
Wow, another like 10 or lower. That's insight.
It's gonna be a 12.
Ah!
A
You
3.
thought.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Hachu, what are you gonna be up to with the rest of the evening that you got before the party reconvenes? Nikos and Peter are making their way to the library to do some research, so what would Hachu be wanting to do?
Sleep.
Get some extra sleep, maybe?
So it would seem.
Yeah, we could probably assume that'd be the case. Hachu getting him some sleep, kind of resting and relaxing. Yeah, we'll do that. Peter, you sit down, take your hat off, try to get comfy after eating. You don't find anything.
I
pertaining
couldn't
to
sleep
this.
on the plane. I was up all night in Greece. Ah, man.
Yeah, you're tired. You're not able to find
Nikos.
anything right now.
Nikos is just walking through the library after like 3 hours, carrying a stack of books he needs to read. And I'm just face down in a book.
Yeah, Peter's just out. He doesn't do it. You're sitting like 3 seats down from him, reading through a couple books. Nikos, you do find a couple mixed examples of fables and stories of mortals or sort of folktale heroes that have gone up against gods. There's not really large examples of mortals or heroes having felled gods that weren't gods or demigods themselves in some way. The closest you find is sort of parables of people tricking maybe lesser deities or devils, things like the salesman managing to outsell the deal's devil, things like the demigod, like Hercules, for example, managing to trick and fight a god, things of that sort, but no gods having been directly just killed by a hero, at least not a hero that wasn't a god in some way, shape, or form themselves. Gods have fallen to other gods, though. But it's also a very, very rare time where a god actually does fully, completely die. Usually they just find themselves detained in another realm, or banished for a while, or kind of put in timeout until eventually they do come back. This seems to be across the board in almost every pantheon.
Detained. Stop! You have violated the law.
You violated the law. The Roman and Greek pantheons must never merge.
Now pay the Celestial a fine or serve your sentence.
Actually, no, there is a 21. You do find one example. However, it's not historically archived. It's, you kind of find it as collections of retellings from clippings and news and information. More like, information dockets that have been passed down originally from the Union Army and the Secret Service. What seems to be a little bit of hearsay information that was collected from the Confederacy, and a little bit of involvement from, oddly enough, the French Canadians. It seems to be information of the Native American understanding of Gaia, was aided by a handful of humans of various unknown belonging to essentially have what was a fight with what is believed to be Mars at some point in time in northern Texas. Entities or deities that were believed to be sort of demonettes from Mars were fought in a open battle and repelled. However, little to no information is known on that, including who was involved in it directly and what the end result of that battle was. But some scholars and various priests of understanding believe Mars obviously wasn't killed, but was kind of shoved back into our understanding of get back into your place and responsibility by what seems to be a small collection of mixed American, could be labeled heroes. However, some of them did allegedly be of a godly tier, so it's not exactly mortals or heroes felling a god, but it still falls within that level of heroes fighting gods. But as far as killing a god, doesn't seem to exist.
All right.
Is this the plot of Oblivion? No, funnily enough, this is the plot of Due West set in 1886. The OG campaign.
Didn't you call it Dead West?
Dead West, yeah. But, yeah, you guys are able to spend the evening researching, looking into that, and eventually some time goes by, and the four of you are able to sit back down in the little kind of common area just down the hall from all your rooms. Everyone's able to get, like, coffee or tea or whatever might be comfy with them. As the four of you will sit down, and Torn, would you like to brief the party on the tasking and letter, or do you want to wait until the proper briefing in a few days?
He's probably gonna bring it up at dinner.
Okay. Yeah, nice late dinner as everyone's able to reconvene and get back together before calling it a night. All of you are able to sit down and kind of look to each other.
So, about this,
Hang on, I want to make a joke first.
Uh-oh.
Given that I've been sleeping in the library, did you know that atlases of Siberia are surprisingly comfortable pillows?
No. Why Siberia? Oh.
Yeah, so I'm taking a little nap there. It's understandable. You've had a long few days.
I was wondering if we should have brought that up to Swinton or not.
I want to see if I can find more on it, because it does sound like a fever dream to say.
Yeah, just stroll up, be like, hey, Swinton, Anastasia's alive and trapped in some weird shadow realm by some weird shadow dogs thing somewhere in Siberia. It's kind of a hard
I mean, we can tell him what happened to me also. That might make it seem less feverish.
I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to say there? Like, hey, Swinton, I wished my friend back to life.
Peter kind of spits out his food. Is that what happened?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
What?
I said I called in a favor.
What? A wish?
That's a favor. Yeah, I need another glass of wine.
You'll be able to pour yourself another glass of wine as four of you sit around a little table in the middle of you.
A favor with who? As I'm actually joking in real life. Fuck.
Just a celestial dragon.
So what's that square then?
Little bit, yeah. About this letter I've got here. So, you want wine? Good. apparently, I have been invited to, by the Vienna Historical Arcane Conference, to, Schwarzenberg, Vienna, Austria. And apparently they want me to give a speech on, Pukwudgies, which is specific, a branch of Native American goblin kind, at least as they see it in their culture, and they want, it's a bit of a long letter. They want me to give an hour-long seminar on my knowledge, and there's going to be scholars from all over the world there.
That's what Swinton considers a critical mission? Go to a conference?
Yeah, I don't necessarily understand it, but what I suspect is, he did just spend a lot of time with Levencroft Sr., and I could only assume that, they had a conversation about something. Anyways, yes, I've been officially invited to the Vienna Historical Arcane Conference as a speaker.
And you know a lot about these goblins? What did you say their name was?
Pukwudgies. Native
Gesundheit?
American folklore. History suggests that they're probably referring to goblin kind and misinterpreting them and of course tying that into their own culture. That's later been figured out, but in fact, creatures of their folklore. Probably realistically just goblins.
Interesting. Well, that really is moving your career up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'd like to go.
It sounds interesting, and I do not think Swinton is giving us a choice.
Yeah. I mean, well, it sounds like my hands are tied, not that they need to be.
Do you know much about these Pukwudgies?
DM, I don't know that much, but I assume Torn would know a lot more.
Torn would be familiar with them. They are a Native American mythos that what they described as like kind of tiny trolls that would often be tricky and tormenting. However, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's what a lot of scholars and historians and kind of cryptologists believe to be just New England native goblins, but there's no more of them left and not really any traces of them, so they're kind of one of those things that are sought after, especially up in the Boston area. However, funny you ask that. Outside of that kind of basic information, you got tasking, sir. It will be a while, as we do have a couple days to go through, and then, of course, the couple days of the event and mission itself. However, over the next, I'd say, week and a half, 2 weeks, you will have time to do your own out-of-character research on the Pukwudgie and write up a formal presentation that you'll be able to give as Torin during this. As stated, you have
college.
Yeah. Of this, you have an hour in character, but also you will be granted up to an hour out of character. Your out of character tasking is not right now, but at the time of the presentation, which will be a couple weeks from now, IRL. You'll be granted up to an hour to give a presentation on the Pukwudgie and what research you have done on it, and whatever kind of stuff you want to sling onto it, and however you want to kind of build that. If you want to work with me on that on the way, no problem at all. Including, you don't have to speak exclusively on the Pukwudgie. If there is anything else you would like to research and give as a presentation on behalf of the Boston History Museum as Torin, you will have up to a full hour to fill with presentative information as you speak to other historians, scholars, cryptologists, arcane specialists, and scientists, and everything in between. So that'll be your out-of-character tasking for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. You can work with me, you can work with the other players.
I certainly hope you don't expect me to use the entire hour. You realize that a full hour of speaking is approximately a 10,000 word essay?
Yeah, I am well aware. We give you an hour in case you want to make it go all out with it, or if it's just going to be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, if you want to have spark notes and a couple examples or sentences for each chapter that you're going through. However you want to do it and present it, you'll be able to work with me. And
I'll probably have a speech, but I will probably have a part in the middle where it's like Torin talks for 50 minutes.
Yep.
Because
that is not a problem at all. However we want to work with this, like we said, up to an hour, but if it only takes 5 minutes and a lot of it is exposition with some stated facts, however you want to go about in doing this, not a problem. But your tasking in and out of character will be researching the Pukwudgie and writing up a presentation that you'll give to what would be other cryptologists and historians, and anything else of interest, whether it be magical items, the process for a museum, something that Torin has personally found on an endeavor recently, whatever it is you want to expand upon that you feel Torin would give as a presentation to a bunch of other like-minded magical researchers.
Oh, God. Okay.
But we got plenty of time to work that over the next while. However, for now, yeah, Torin has been officially selected and summoned to speak on behalf of the Boston Museum of the Unnatural and Arcane. Not quite as a headliner, but as one of the top 5 noted names and speeches among the about 80 some odd that are going to be going on.
Oh, and this is the first speech. This is the hype speech. If you fuck this one up, you know your career.
It's actually not the first speech. It's gonna be one of the last 4 of the entire event.
Well, no, I mean the new guest
in the career.
Yeah.
This new guy. There's a lot of words about this new guy. People are talking about him.
Who's this new guy? Who's this kobold? There's only 2 other known kobolds in the world that do this kind of stuff. Who's this guy? He's got Levencroft attached to his name. Ooh.
Oh boy.
But yeah, you guys realize you're gonna be.
Relax. I'm sure you're going to do fine.
Yeah, I'm
Got this.
going to do fine too. It's just I feel like they, for whatever reason, believe that I know more about these particular creatures than any other the curator of any museum. It's generally common knowledge that they exist, but other than that, there's really not a lot of depth to their. There's a reason they're mostly stories relegated to Native American circles, and that's because nobody knows shit about them.
Even if they're Native American, it would make sense that you and Senior may be the leading experts in the world. After all, Europeans don't usually concern themselves with the happenings of Native Americans.
That's a good point. I'm gonna have to make some phone calls. I'm gonna have to get some find document. Oh, I'm gonna have to do so much work.
That said, for the next 2 days of task and conversation, we will be entering the task and conversation period for you guys, as you'll have 2 days, 2 tasks and 2 conversations to have. Torin, thankfully, researching and writing up this before you guys get the full briefing and embark on this operation. This will not count against any of those tasks and conversation that you will have, so you won't have to worry about this taking away from it, as you will in character be able to put a little while into setting this up, probably in the late evenings and whatnot for the next 2 days. However, at this point, we will have you guys retire for the night. As you understand, you'll be bound for Vienna and what will likely be a much, much different operation than the ones you have been leading. Notably so, as you'll be in Vienna, of all places, at a historical summit.
Yeah, it's going to be the only reason.
Must fight urge to have Torin humble brag for half the speech.
I mean,
I remember there was this one time when I was in the mountains of Georgia and I killed a dragon. Anyways,
it'll be a good time. However, I got my notes here, so what we will do is we'll go from the bottom up on the list. Day 1, Torin, you have a interaction and a action. For your day 1 action and interaction, what would you like to do? What would you like to task those with? And do remember, if you have nothing in particular you want to do, you can always relinquish it, where you will gain a little extra rest.
As action, Torin is going to go to the library and try to parse some more information on the Anastasia thing. That's still kind of stuck in his mind.
Okay, so Anastasia research and any interaction that you want to have for day 1.
Probably not. A bit buried in thoughts and research, and
Alright, so pass for day 1. Day 2, what action and interaction would you like to do?
Oh, we're queuing these all up now.
Actually, no, we can wait on them. Yeah, that way we can see whether day 1 is successful or not.
I was about to say mine's might change.
Yeah, good point.
After day 1.
Peter, day 1, action and interaction. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try and redo my research from earlier, only this time I am going to spend my Legends lore on it.
Alrighty. You were wanting to research into what in particular?
The phenomenon we encountered, the whole possible teleportation thing, the shadow dogs, and the...
Shadow Realm? I'll just list it as that.
And I'm burning my legend lore on it.
Gotcha. And a interaction. What interaction would you like to take?
I mean, it probably kind of counts, but I plan to write a letter that I'll get to you during the week. Or at the end of session.
Write a letter,
something.
which we'll be able to do this weekend, later in the week. Something before next session, so that's no problem.
Yeah.
Nikos, action and interaction for your first of 2 days off.
I'm heading to the library also.
Alright, what are you wanting to do in the library?
Research good old Uncle Tython.
Nikos
Know
is
my
fucking
enemy and all
dialed
that.
in. I just imagine him sitting in the library, like hunched over a book, doing the thing where he's got like his 2 fingers poised to his chin, like just dialed in like a college student cramming.
Right.
Hair turns into a question mark.
Every once in a while, Nikos just, like, as a chibi, seems more like the Sandman from Rise of the Guardians. Just his hair is doing things. Day 1 interaction, Nikos. Would you have one in mind?
Going to the library.
No, that'd be action. Interaction
Oh.
is a particular conversation or a consultation of sort. Someone in particular
No.
you want to seek out.
No, I don't think so.
Alright, we'll pass on that. And Hachu,
I'll
if you're
stay
with
away
us-
from the fan club.
Okay, avoid the fan club, yeah. Hachu has
That should have been my interaction. Be going to the fan club.
Damn you.
You might have day 2. We'll see. Day 2 will be present.
I do need to spend day 2 with the intel guys. So.
Sounds good. Hachu, action and interaction if you will have one. Or day 1, not day 2.
1, 2, same thing, really.
Something like it's a weekend.
It's the same thing if you can't count.
We'll be able to follow up with him. Looking at the time we were at, likely I'll just catch up on that, and he'll be one of the starters for next session. As most of next session will likely be day 1 and day 2, and the briefing on the 3rd day as you make your way for Vienna. But for the rest of today's session, we'll see what we can do with your guys' stuff. We'll start with Torin, since all of you are oddly enough going to the library. Torin, give me intelligence and investigation.
Alright. Oh shit, nice.
Ooh, okay. And you're particularly looking into anything pertaining to the missing of Anastasia going missing, or particularly kind of dimensions or realms like that? Like what in particular?
Dimensions, realm, the region, what he saw, what he experienced, the fact that he left Leroy's hat behind, meaning it's a veritable place, like all of that.
All right. Give me una memento, and I'll give you a nice.
The story
over-under.
Rusky guy was like, "Oh yeah, we just walked into the woods and then we walked forever."
Alrighty. Give me una momento, por favor, as I scroll through my information here to give you a nice, sort of put together thing. There we go. So, with that rather high roll, you read through and you get kind of a combination of information. However, a lot of this being from Russia, in particular, as far as the location, the event, you're not able to find too much on it, considering the Civil War and what has resulted since then. There's a majority of what you are able to find is hearsay. However, the official on paper is the entire Romanov royal family was killed at the palace during the Civil War.
No shit.
Yeah, right. However, there is small trace elements, particularly from some Russians that eventually made their way to the U.S., from Vladivostok, which is a city to the far east of Russia, in a region known as Green Ukraine. Green Ukraine, as was mentioned to you previously by the Russian musical group that escaped Russia that came by and visited for a while, is sort of the unofficial refuge for what's left of the Imperials and Imperial loyalists who are seeking to slowly escape communist control. To the understanding, allegedly, some members of the royal family, although unknown who, were part of a caravan that were going from the city of Murmansk, or as it was known, Romanov on Murman, to Harbin in south-central Russia. Somewhere along that travel, a freak blizzard hit the entirety of southern Russia, and that traveling group never arrived in Harbin. They never made it and were never heard from in Green Ukraine. They simply disappeared. They weren't the only group. A handful of large groups trying to move across Siberia suffered a similar fate in that particular blizzard in 1925-ish. There's no real numbers, there's no recordings, but it seems the last amounts of Imperial loyalists tried to make a mass exodus across Siberia in 1925 and disappeared. And the rumor is a couple of escaped royal family disappeared during that very blizzard. So unfortunately, as far as the Russian aspect goes, little to no information. However, the magical aspect of it, as far as blizzards go, nothing parallel. However, you do oddly find a bit of information that kind of coincides with, oddly enough, American and Native American findings. Oddly enough, a lot of it being East Coast based. And a couple events on the West Coast, particularly in the Southwest. Almost all of them being of Native American sort of mythos and lore. Heavy fogs and heavy storms and heavy sandstorms and habals and sort of, what's the word for it? The big rolling sandstorms, haboos, are kind of renowned for making people disappear without a trace. Heavy, heavy coastal fogs up in parts of New England, rumored to be bearing creatures that might snatch people away and carry them off to other places. Never allow yourself to be actively traveling when these heavy storms or heavy sandstorms or heavy fogs might hit an area, because the creatures inside it might whisk you away. Other than the obvious existence of certain creatures perhaps existing,
Damn.
Yeah?
These kind of sound like skinwalkers.
A little bit. That's the fun part. The fun part about this is it is likely a fable that, or a parable or a mythos that goes back to kind of like as you guys found with the Schnellergeist. Don't walk off the path in the deep woods at night, lest you be carried away and ripped apart by a giant flying tentacle bird that also rips apart your soul. It is a story to scare you from, hey, don't walk off a path in the forest at night. It's a bad idea. But as you come to find, and as most of the world has found, it kind of holds true. It turns out the Schnellergeist is real. And combining some of these things, both a couple stories and tells of beings and deities that exist in these sub-pockets and sub-dimensions and other kind of elemental planes, there's no reason to believe that there isn't creatures that do this very thing. Combining this with your knowledge of skinwalkers and various cryptids, as well as you guys having now had direct contact with the sort of Slavic Russian idea of a kind of skinwalker and werewolf, the Valkalok, as you guys found they were called, a shadow wolf, who exist in the shadows of trees. They are known to move around with heavy fog and heavy rain.
What did you say it was called?
The Valkalak, or Vakalak, V-A-U-K-A-L-A-K, or Shadow Wolf, is kind of the quite literal translation, who, oddly enough, work very similar to rock dogs and werewolves and skinwalkers. They mimic things to lure people into areas of misty, dark, foggy forests. They'll keep them walking in circles until just the right time to strike. And as far as what they do with these people, don't really know. And the same thing is kind of said for a lot of other similar parallel beings, whether American, Native, or kind of labyrinthian. there's no real answer other than no good. But you kind of personally got to see firsthand they do seem to operate on their own sort of plane that isn't of this Earth, per se. It's parallel to it. It seems to be in the same realm, but it seems to be in its own kind of pocket area that these things might exist or inhabit. And it might very well be linked to the very shadows of trees. At least, if anything, from various southwestern native and east coast Native American mythos and lore kind of coincides with. Avoid the fog, avoid the storms, don't get caught in sandstorms, don't walk off the path at night, lest you be snatched up by beings that will attempt to be familiar to you, whether it be with familiar calls, innocent voices, things of that sort. So from what you can tell, it's likely a pocket dimension. However, you kind of seem to be the only recorded instance of going to one and coming back, or surviving one. Surviving being snatched up. Or at least not just disappearing permanently. As far as getting there again, if you had to take a gander, you're likely going to have to find one of those creatures again and ride with them to that area. There's no recorded instance of anybody traipsing upon that area accidentally, at least from the information that you can find.
Sweet.
Let's see. Yeah, that's about the information you're able to find as far as Falcalax, this pocket region, and some of the stuff kind of roaming around it, the general feel and vibe of it, and the huge lack of information as far as the royal family goes.
All right.
Peter, you are
Piggybacking off
researching...
Torin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm casting Legends lore, which gets better the more information. The better I get, better results the more information I have, and I presume I'm researching with Torin.
Understandable, as you probably would be, especially with pertaining to Anastasia. You're particularly
Torin's covering
wanting
his
to...
book, like, no, this is mine.
No, this is mine. You can't read my notes. Get your own notes. This is for my
No
presentation.
copying!
Yeah, don't copy me. You wanted to research particularly the Shadow Realm that the Valkylax
Yeah, the
inhabited.
Valkylax. Yeah, in their Shadow Realm.
Okay. Let's see. Legend lore. Name a description, a person, place, or object the spell brings to your
Do you
mind.
want me
A brief
to...
summary.
Yeah, do you want me to hit investigation or intelligence first? Or just go with the Legends lore?
Ooh. Legend lore works, but give me intelligence and investigation as well.
And one.
That's okay. Torin will compensate for you. Oh! Yeah, you find parallel to Torin the same information. However, you lean a little bit more towards trying to find European aspect of it. You don't find any additional heavy information. However, as you cast Legend lore, as you're reading up on this kind of parallel to Torin, you do get a blurb of information that kind of sticks to you. So you get kind of a, dare I say, let's see, I'm trying to remember lore that consists current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. The name is in legendary importance. You gain no information. The more information you already have about a thing, the more precise. If you have a mysterious magic axe, you might yield this information of woe to the evildoers. His hand touches the axe. Charges down. Summary of the significance. Okay, so in this one, you actually get a fun sort of vision that will kind of come across, kind of like when you're reading something and you're picturing like what it might look like in your head as you're reading about this. The vision you get is sort of a open sort of an open space, about 40, 50 yards across in all directions of open forest. You can tell it's definitely a thicker kind of Russian forest as you're reading about how they're moving from shadows in the trees, and you're kind of getting some of those memories of when you were fighting them, how they were disappearing behind tree spaces that they shouldn't be able to disappear behind, how quickly they're able to move, and how they kind of looked like they were made out of tree themselves, some of them. At least the ones that weren't dripping with physical shadow. And you find yourself stepping forward, kind of walking into the shadow of these trees, and for some reason, trees don't have really a pattern to how they grow. They tend to just grow with the seeds of the trees as they expand. But in particular, you find 4 trees that form almost a perfect square between the 4 of them. It's natural in a sense, but it seems like it was almost placed unnaturally. These 4 trees are in a perfect square of each other on the edge of a tree line. And as you walk towards them, you find yourself walking into the middle of them. And as you exit out the opposite side of those 4 trees, the fog is thick, the shadows are heavier, your view distance drops to almost 10, 15 feet away. As you look behind you, you are in that kind of continual forest where there's a tree about every 15 to 20 feet apart. The fog is so thick that as you breathe it in and breathe it out, you can literally see the air moving. Your shoulders become heavier, everything becomes a little more damp. All color kind of fades to a bit more of a grayish. And you get that sort of ruffled movement about 10, 15 feet away. There is no undergrowth in this forest, but you can see traces of very low to the ground shadows that are kind of pulling some of this fog with it, some of this moisture around as it runs from the base of tree to tree before you fully turn around to look out in front of you, and it's the same thing. And you start looking left and looking right. And after a few moments, you realize, fuck, what was the original direction that you walked in from? And you start walking one direction, pause, turn around, start trying to walk the other direction, pause. You try to walk back, you try to look at where your footsteps were, but there's just not enough decipherable terrain deformation to tell where you've been walking so far. And you quickly realize there is no direction you can really walk to get back out in hopes of finding the passage back out. And you kind of get hit with a sort of bad guttural feeling of like, oh god, I am now stuck here, as that vision kind of fades.
Yeah, I think I'll relay all that to Torin after I cast it.
All right.
You just saw it. Like,
It's part of the spell.
So what I'm parsing here is well, there's bits of Native American lore about the same thing. Storms, places where you simply shouldn't go at night, or places where you don't travel. This area between was it Murmansk and Harbin?
That is almost the entirety of Russia.
Well, perhaps we could deduce or try to extrapolate what path he may have taken. Surely there were popular routes.
Can we look into that, or do we have to wait for tomorrow?
To do any continual research, you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Okay.
If we can pinpoint a location, a hotspot of sorts, a specific point where these incidents seem to occur, I suspect our only way to get there is to to be abducted.
I have the same feeling.
I think we need to make sure we have a way to get back if we're going to go down that route.
Agreed. Although that said, we were abducted before, were we not?
Yes.
How did we come back then? How did we go then?
That's a terribly confusing question. I have no idea at all. I have more questions than before.
The more answers you find, the more questions you get.
Yes, that
It
often
is
the
very
case.
often how it is. Although I suppose you would know, doing so much academics.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to history.
There's a certain finality to history. Some things are very, very cut and dry. Most of the more recent stuff. This is, once you get into war zones, it all goes to the wind.
We'll fan forward just a little bit, as on the opposite side of the library hall, going more towards the Greek and historical section, we have Nikos doing some reading. Nikos, if you'd give me an intelligence and investigation roll, please. Ooh.
4.
Not quite as much, but you're able to find some works on it. You're able to find a handful of scrolls as you are reading up on Typhon. A lot of this you would be rather familiar with, so you are kind of refreshing previously known knowledge, but it doesn't hurt to be refreshed. Obviously, Typhon's kind of the biggest, scariest big bad, that even gods fear him. He was born of Tartarus and Gaia, two also very strong deities, particularly Gaia, which, oddly enough, isn't seen only in Greek parable and tell. There's actually quite a few parallels to Gaia, including with the Native Americans, with some Hindu and Indian, some Middle Eastern. Gaia seems to be kind of a recurring entity throughout. But Typhon, you get the pretty general knowledge, so much so that he quite literally scares even Zeus, like the biggest god and deity of all, and tried to challenge him and fight him at one point in time. It resulted in quite a few different things going on. It almost cracked the earth, kind of gave purpose to Mount Etna being used, turned into a prison. However, the one thing you are able to kind of find is, just barely with that investigation, you do find a small little passage of hints that kind of reflect a little bit with what you came to understand from, oh god, name keeps escaping me. Give me un momento.
Please.
Not Patroclus. Roxana. What she divulged. You find information that seems to say he is not one to empower others. He's a very hands-on, direct, I do it myself kind of deity. He's not the kind that makes deals with mortals or others. He doesn't make alliances. He doesn't command armies. And this really doesn't coincide with your vision of what you at least believe to be him. or at least can pretty well confirm was him, in wherever that trench was, seeming to reside over a massive trench full of Telshines, which, well, the Telshines weren't really an army meant for Typhon. The Telshines were just kind of a more general kind of fighting force and enemy under the ocean. And the idea that he's potentially commanding them means he may have gotten over on other sea gods, perhaps Poseidon, perhaps at least who you believe you get your power from, the creator of the river folk and the sea folk, who has been kind of not present for the last while. Creator of the Oceanids, whose name is escaping me.
Oceanus.
Oceanus, that's it, thank you. Who has also been disappeared for a while, who by no means should have been able to have been bested by him. So this might require more research in due time. But, yeah, the Typhon you were able to witness at least doesn't really jive or vibe with the Typhon that is relatively known. But also the information on him is relatively limited. Big, strong, scary, goes rogue, tries to fight Zeus, gets his ass kicked barely, gets buried under a mountain. Doesn't really jive or make sense with what you have witnessed so far. But other than that, you're not really able to garner too much more on the subject. As we will hit towards the end of the kind of day's operations. I do believe you also wanted to, let's see, you were a pass. Peter, I believe you wanted to write a letter. Who was this letter to?
The Patriarch of Constantinople.
Ah, perfect. Okay. So this is going to be for that then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll be able to do that later on this week or next week before next session, no problem. Alrighty. With that being said, I think this is a good spot to end session for today, so that not tomorrow, next week will be a bit of catch up. Day 2 of your task, action, and interaction, and then day 3 will be regrouping and getting the proper briefing from Swinton before you guys will be boarding and going on your way to Vienna for a good 5-day venture to give some scientific elbow-bumping presentations and good times ahead. It'll be fun. It'll be a nice change of pace. You'll be wearing suits, sipping wine, listening to high-class music, and speaking with the highest class of people. It'll be a good time.
By highest class, you mean most autistic class.
Ha ha! Yes, I too. I too have researched the intricate workings of inner locomotion and its arcade application
You
in
meet
the stance of Pennant Railway models.
The guy that really likes trains, the train man.
Autism doesn't exist yet.
There's like 7 presentations on trains there, and the magic influence on them.
You know, that might just be all of day 2 is magical locomotion. That being said, we will announce it here and now. Next week's session, the first 2/3 of it being the rest of Hachu's day 1, all of your guys' day 2, and the proper briefing will be issued by myself. After the briefing, and once you guys have boarded the plane and begun on your way, the last third of next week's session, and the following 2, possibly 3 sessions after that, until the finishing of the operation and your guys' arrival back in England, will be DM'd by yours truly, Peter, who will likely be finding his way to step away from the party as he will be visiting some high-class persons in Constantinople. Well, I will be filling in as a accoutrement of assorted NPCs and characters that you will be meeting and speaking with and having a good rousing time with. As we'll be doing a bit of a switcheroo for the next couple sessions for the Vienna arc until you guys arrive back in England. Peter here will be DM, and I will be playing a mixture of characters from some that you've met in side sessions, some that you've met previously, some that you'll be rather entertained by, and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
One will want to murder.
Some you'll want to murder, but hopefully you won't, because you understand that this mission is not about murder, but political intrigue. Please don't kill people.
It's bad to kill people in one of the imperial palaces in Vienna, guys.
Yeah. You're there to talk about science, not war, okay?
What's the difference?
Yeah. That said,
Also, before that, on the note of like everyone gearing up to go do very serious stuff, Torin knows this kind of atmosphere. His plan the next night is probably go out by himself on the town and be really irresponsible. So
understandable, and I am well prepared for you guys to probably have a nice, fun, hurrah next session for your day 2 before you regroup in the morning and get your proper briefing going. So, yeah. But,
after our briefing, I'm dragging us to the intel. Actually, I might be leaving, which means you have to drag yourselves to the intel guys to learn about who's going to be there.
Yep. It'll be a good time. So next session, rest of day 1 and day 2 of off time, kidding up and having a bit of step away party celebration and good time out on town, and then myself issuing the proper full briefing with all the information and confabs and intel as to what you'll be doing and what the objective will be. And then from there, I will hand it off, switch places with Peter, who will be taking a separate flight to Constantinople, and I will then be relinquishing majority of power to Peter here to be your new
I get the
godly
plane
voice.
while you guys get the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
You guys are going via Zeppelin, by the way.
Oh no!
Yeah. Don't worry. The Hindenburg happens in 37, unless you guys really drastically change history.
Hey, can I smoke in here?
Oh, okay. Oh, yay, Zeppelin!
And, we'll end session there. Catch you guys next week as we begin the Vienna arc. Catch you later.
The airplane put down at the airstrip on a cold and gloomy day, and the 6 aboard all knew their homes were very far away. The strife that gripped the forest all around them was their plight. They knew that something out there wasn't right. There were creatures in the bush, and there were soldiers in the woods. There were zealots in the ruins. There was magic that's no good. Grenades were used aplenty, guns and swords brought in, and death. When it finished, only 5 or 6 were left. On the flight back to their quarters, the new place to be their home, the dangers of their future had been surely set in stone. The content of their briefing brought their purpose into light. These 5 strangers had been brought into the fight. There are stories of the Kobold, of Wilhelm Schwartz and Father Peter too. There are tales of the Hoplite, of Leroy Copeland and Hatshu. And while the details of their past and trials were never meant to spawn, the deeds of wondrous company will live on. Yes. wondrous company